are receiving a pirate radio transmission. On the air for testing purposes only. Do you receive? Do you receive?
It's Friday night. Mom's Jimmy. Into the microcosms on the air.
I wanna get high as a kite. I wanna get high, girl. I wanna get high all day and night. When we get together, we're betting up and satisfied.
Journeyman. Are you there?
I am here.
Excellent. Stand by.
Yep.
All right, there we go. All right. Whew. Man. Seriously, what's happening, everybody? Seriously, made it in here by the hair of our chinny chin chin with this fucking...
Family friendly show.
I'm not even going to waste... Look at... I'm not even going to waste a minute. Rock and Rio. Are you there?
I am here.
Excellent. All right, let's get this figured out here. I got like 9 things open on YouTube. There's like 6 pages open here. Stand by. It's like a never-ending situation over here recently with this technical shit.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well, there may be a way out, so.
Well, I hope so. There goes Melvin Taylor.
I might have to try it next time round.
All right. Well, we'll see. I don't mess with that. So we'll see how that goes. But Epic Journeyman's here. Now, dude, the explosions and the 1,000 feet plume of lava on the Big Island. What's happening, man, with that?
Didn't affect me. It was over there, you know. But it did affect this VOG. Like, so where I'm at, It's an offshore wind, so even when we had the big Fissure 8 eruption a couple years back, even though I could see the lava plume from my porch, I could look out and see the actual, lava,
Yeah.
right, going in the sky from that Fissure 8. But it all blew offshore, right? So the all the ash and glaze and stuff would go out offshore. So I was working in Waikoloa, which is on the Kona side, and that's what it does. It wraps around the island, and it just starts. It's like big smog, right? They call it fog, volcanic fog, right? And it's just it blocks view of the ocean, everything else. It's just like this haze, like it's LA is next door all of a sudden, right? At the heat of the eruption when it was going on last time, the people in Kona, it was like London fog. You couldn't see across the street hardly. It was so bad. People were leaving because it was so bad. I mean, it was so just depressing, right? Because you tried to go to the beach, you couldn't see the beach, right? That's how bad it got to be at some points. But this isn't that bad. But you could definitely tell the difference. All of a sudden, you don't have the nice blue ocean out there anymore. You got this bank of gray, looping back around for that eruption.
It's too much, man. It's just like there's volcanic activity going on across the planet.
They're worried about Washington, man. They're big time worried about Washington.
I know, because there's the underwater volcano may go off. It's not bad enough, you got to sit there and worry about all this other shit that's clearly in front of your face. But
right.
But don't worry about that. Worry about the shit it's under the ocean over there. You can't see it.
You have no chance to escape at all.
Yeah.
Like if it goes, I mean, in any major way, the tsunami is inescapable. There's no way to get away from it in time. So
now,
keep that in mind, guys. Have fun over there.
Rock and Rio. Now, earlier I sent you a video of Trump and the reporter who said it was the taco tariffs, and he got a little bit upset about it. He doesn't like be called the taco tariffs. Were you able to look at that?
No, I haven't.
No, because
even had a chance to see it yet.
Because it's too complicated to just get on Teams. It's like a full-time job, just logging in and getting on Revolution.
Well, I had to finish prepping my brisket, so.
I know. Well, tell everybody, because Rock and Rio sent me a shot of his brisket. And tell everybody you got the brisket going now. You did this last year too. Now I remember. How long ago?
I did it a couple weeks ago, or a month or so ago.
Yeah, I'm not sure. You talked about it on the show when you did it. It was a while ago. But go ahead. What's going on now? How many pounds is this brisket you got going on?
18 pounds. Before trimming, it was 18 pounds.
18 pounds.
Nice slab of meat,
Well, 8 plus 1.
It's the whole thing. I got the whole thing.
8 plus 1 is 9 now. So
yeah,
you got the right.
So you trim probably 2 pounds of edging off it, because when you get it, it's vacuum sealed, but there's always that little bit of dry stuff from when they power wash the cow when they do it, because it's the underbelly. So you trim the fat, you trim the edges off. You probably cut about 2 pounds off it there, and then you trim it again, trim the extra fat and stuff off, and then I render the fat and mix it in with I use some bouillon and a little liquid smoke, because I do it in the oven, not in the smoker. And then I got my dry rub mix, so got the dry rub all taken care of, and then do my injection. Now it's in the fridge for sit overnight. Tomorrow it'll go in the oven for probably 8 or 10 hours.
Man, that's a serious brisket. This has been Cook Your Brisket with Rock and Rio in the microcosm here on Revolution Radio, freedomslips.org, I think it is. I'm not sure. Yeah. But come on down and become supporters. You know what I'm saying, Rio? Anyhow.
Good things take time, right? So.
Right. Good things take time. Good things are worth waiting for, too.
That's right.
You could have, Anyhow, so Epic Journeyman, you were not here last week or yesterday on Saturday, and I didn't see you around on Sunday. Now, what the hell's going on over there? Are you guys, what's going on? Because now it's been a while since Maui, and I see this Maui real estate guy making the rounds. Are you still living near or around this Maui real estate?
Oh yeah.
Dude?
Yeah, well, so my old place I stayed in is like right across the parking lot from that guy, and then I mean, literally like it's not a parking lot like a commercial parking lot. It's a parking lot where we park our cars in the development, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's right there. Yeah, Tacoma Estates, right? So he's over there. I haven't seen him. I mean, I never saw him when I lived there. He supposedly lives there. I never saw him walking around.
Well, he's definitely
sure he lives there.
He was on that, that show Redacted. He was on Redacted, and he was on there making some pretty heavy accusations. Yeah, there's quite a bit of news going on in the world around this whole bond crisis and this upcoming Basel III transition that's been put off for I don't know how many years now. It was supposed to take care of the derivatives issue back when, what was that, 2008, when the 1.4 quadrillion dollars in derivatives was exposed. And so this Basel III is supposed to be taking care of some of that. And we're going to get into some of what that may mean a little bit later, because there's quite a bit of evidence to suggest certain things are going on, and you may just be on the forefront of it just simply because somehow you found into the microcosm and now you're here. So because of that, we're going to throw down and give you some information. Also, Rock and Real, what's going on the East Coast? What's the biggest story on the East Coast right now? Anything?
I don't really think there is a big story over here that I know of. I've been very busy this week, so I haven't really been paying much attention to the news.
No. Well, the tariffs are off. The tariffs are on. The tariffs are off. The tariffs are on. Tariffs are off.
That I've heard, but
the peace deal is off. The peace deal is on. The peace deal is off. The peace deal is on. Same thing with the Middle East.
Wax on, wax off.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
pretty much.
Yeah, whatever. So nothing seems to have happened. I mean, things seem like they happened. I don't know. A lot of these signatures and a lot of things have been going on. Don't seem like they're passing the smell test in some of these courts. What's going on with these courts, Epic Journeyman? Because people are saying,
well, that's their job. Yeah, there are three branches of government, man. That's checks and balances. That's what it's all about. Congress isn't doing their job. I mean, Congress is supposed to be one doing all this stuff, and they've just totally, slithered away under some tree log somewhere and letting things slide and trying not to avoid taking the heat, I guess. I don't know what they're doing, man. I mean, we're supposed to have three branches of government. They're there for a reason, and you can't put it on the courts. They're going to fail someday too. So
why did they even
have to stand up?
Why did he listen? Let me ask you a question. Why did they even bring in Elon Musk and Doge? What was the whole purpose of that? Because they went in there.
Paid $275 million.
I'm just saying, they went in there. They went in there, supposedly found a bunch of shit, but nothing ever happened. And then all of a sudden,
it ended up being so much worse than they said too. Yeah, as far as like not the money they said they've saved, ended in a fraction. It was only a couple billion, if that. Right? It's nothing.
Well, the funny thing is,
government.
The funny thing is now this big beautiful bill came out, and look at how much that cost. Because look at every single person who's on Social Security or who makes tips, when they hear you won't get taxed on Social Security, you're not going to get taxed on tips, everyone's going to say what? They're going to say, right on, man. Meanwhile, you got this this congressman up there. They asked him what was in it, and he said, honest to God, this is not like replay of, we got to pass it before we could see it or whatever. This isn't that, but it's just as bad. The guy said he didn't even look at it.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
He didn't even fucking look at it. What do we pay?
He got jumped by his constituents, right? They're saying, hey, man, all this stuff's in there. And what about this? What about the thing where it eliminates judges having the right to do anything? Like giving basically a free pass to the executive, right? Oh, I didn't see that part. I didn't know about that when I saw it. I didn't actually read the bill. Like, what? Yeah, well, you're supposed to read it, man. Your name's on it. Your vote counts. That's going to come back and haunt you later, But the thing is, it's $20 trillion over 10 years. So it's $5 trillion this year. Mm-hmm. This year, 4.5 to 4.8, something like that trillion this year. and it's going to be 20 trillion by the time it's all adding to the debt by the time it's done. Extra, not like what's already there. Extra, right? Crazy.
No,
what are you doing, man?
It is crazy because I mean, at this point, you know what I thought was really funny was that lady from the Solaris report. I can't think of her name now. She's, you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah. From Dark Journalist.
She's a well-respected journalist.
She was an auditor for during the Bush W administration.
Well, she came out and said that she found that 35 trillion had been spent on underground cities and facilities. And I think it's funny because the debt is 35 trillion.
Yeah, right.
But I'm just saying, why is the number the same? It's a little bit funny to me. I mean, it's you know, and I mean,
Karen points out, Catherine Austin Fitts. That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
No, she was pointing that out back in the day with the same thing with the ending of the Bush administration, right? I think it's when she first started doing this Lowry report or thereabouts, and during Obama, right? And so the numbers were matching basically, not necessarily one for one, but close enough to raise an eyebrow, because she was reporting on that going all the way back, not with the Solari report, I think, but just in general, going back to the missing trillions, going back to Rumsfeld admitting as much the day before 9/11, right?
Yeah. Well, she
so on September 10th,
so
missing,
she was on Tucker, and that's where she was breaking all this down. But I just think it's interesting anyway. Just because, I mean, I don't know if you guys have heard these, there's rumors, and just a couple of people have come out and made videos. I'm getting messages in Teams, I think. I can't look right now. But I've seen videos of a couple of different people, and they're making a testimony, or they're testifying that they work in an underground system under Los Angeles, that if you're a certain level of celebrity, that you get to drive down inside these underground tunnels, and no traffic, you just
they call it Sunless Boulevard.
Yeah, you just pop up, at some nondescript garage somewhere, come pulling out. You know what I mean? So, but there's all kinds of talk about Los Angeles and underground stuff. I mean, this goes way back to this guy who developed some ground penetrating radar system that he wanted to test, and he did it in LA, and he found a bunch of tunnels. So they ran out all the way to the sea. But then, obviously Epic Journeyman and I and Rock and Rio have talked quite a bit about the tunnels that exist up in these hills between these homes. Same kind of shit. It seems like there's so I was going to tell you, I'm not verifying because I have no way to know if this guy's telling the truth or not, but it just sounds plausible to me. So he said he worked at Starbucks in this underground thing. So you're under there, you're driving around your car, you pull over, you can just pull over there and get yourself a coffee. Starbucks. It's in there. And this guy worked at Starbucks, and he was saying, I work there in this underground facility. And so the guy says, well, do you see a lot of celebrities? And he starts naming names. This guy, that guy, the other guy. And this guy that's interviewing him asked him, said, well, is that guy a good tipper? Does he throw you a tip? And the guy says, well, no, because there's no money. Says, there's no transactions. Everything's free.
Well, if you're going to have a system of civilization like that, like post-civilization, that's how it would be, right? Like you'd be like Star Trek in a sense, right? Nobody carries money around. You have your rank or whatever that maybe gives you a certain amount of authorization for different things. But you wouldn't, how could you have money? Because, you're rebuilding, right? So if you're making a continuity of civilization as opposed to continuity of government, that's kind of what you'd have, right? You'd have maybe, you'd be like the red shirts, blue shirts. Don't be a red shirt, man. Whatever, on the landing party, right? But yeah, it'd be like that. It kind of have to be. It'd be more of a class thing. Like we talk about levels, like the levels on the cloud, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these people are on cloud 3 and they have access to all this stuff. They get the Starbucks, Cloud 4, you get to go to the nice restaurant. Cloud 5, you get to the nice hotel, that kind of thing, right? At some point, it'd be like that until things even back out and civilization gets rebuilt. you might have to be down there for 100 years, you know? I mean, if things get bad, if there's a nuclear holocaust on the surface, it's going to be at least that long before you get back on the surface. So in some places, not everywhere, some places will be okay after, you know, maybe 10 years, but a lot of places aren't going to be. It's, yeah, if they're really planning something like that, Dr. Strangelove style, wouldn't surprise me at all. It's how many people would know and how could they keep it secret. That's really the bigger problem. Something like that, keeping it secret stuff is going to be the hard part. And I think in a way, all the won't call it just fake news, but the rush of just different information, that's information overload, constantly being barraged to us on our cell phones and our devices, and and the news and different media and on your computer, is there meant to make everything indistinguishable from the truth, what the fact is, so that we are, confronted with this option, it won't be surprising. You're kind of numb to it. You have your apathetic response instead of a sense of surprise or outrage for it happening under your nose, not being told about it.
Rock and Rio.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell's going on over there?
I'm not sure.
Me neither. It's all too much at this point. It's gotten to the point where it's just about to, everything's about to just, I don't know. We sort of talk.
Yeah, it seems like that, the train is rolling down the track, but, the rails are a little shaky.
It's a runaway train. It's a runaway train. And you're on it every Friday night, 9 o'clock Pacific, right here at Revolution Radio. And at 10 o'clock, we'll be joining Ground Zero Plus immediately following Clyde Lewis and Ground Zero. So stick around for that, because we're going to get into the meat of the situation, which is, you ever thought about the future and what it's going to look like? Because the biggest fear most people have in this world about the future is you're being completely digital, because the biggest fear is being turned off. They can just turn you off, Rio. They can just turn you off, Epic Journeyman, because they don't like what you said. So they can just turn you off like you didn't exist. There was this issue that came up recently where a guy had found out something about the way some crypto was being traded, and he was starting to tell people about it. And so this guy, apparently he went to the bank and his bank account didn't exist, and he didn't exist at the bank. And they said they never heard of the guy before. And he said, well, how did I get this ATM card? And they said, well, we don't know. But you don't have an account here. And he had
turn that in.
Yeah, he had millions of dollars in there, literally, according to the story. So there's really no way to know. But even if it's just a story, it's scary enough. You don't want to have. You don't want to be the eraser head around you. All right, listen. So what's on your mind, Epic Journeyman?
Well, I mean, now that I'm recovering from my exposure to the Big Island fire ants, call them electric ants now. They changed the name because little fire ants didn't sound threatening enough. I think I mentioned it before, but yeah, they're pretty gnarly, man. I got a face full of doing yard work. Now that I'm recovered somewhat, and I'm out of the bog, and I'm back here on Maui, and starting to watch a little bit of media and catch up because, doing yard work the whole time I was there and work. It's like, I don't know what to make out of this. I mean, it's always been like this, but it's worse now. Like, it's a sense of, like, we're really about to change. Like, something's really about to happen. Like life-threatening almost. But, but it's a sense of dread. Like, not that like a imminent, catastrophe so much. It's just like an imminent, call it an invasion, call it a turn of civilization, whatever it is. Something's about to happen. I just get that sense, like something's about to happen.
Definitely about to happen. There's no question. And you remember about 4 or 5 months ago, there was a paper that was on the, hang on a second, I'll tell you. Anyways, there was a paper, and the guy was talking about the moon, 33 degrees, or I can't remember the amount of degrees. I'm saying 33 just because that number sticks in my head, but the moon, so many degrees of Mars, was going to cause some financial debacle. And he was saying that there was some red back, it was going to be called the red back, and this new currency was going to come into effect. And so it's just interesting, even if that was just, I mean, he was trying to say it was Jeff Bezos and Amazon was going to drop a new coin or something, some new type of money. But irrespective of that, there's a lot of things heating up as far as the financials are concerned. And so that's why I was been paying attention to this this report that we had. Let me go to my email, because they emailed me these when they come out. Hang on a second. I'll tell you guys where it came from. Anyway, give me a second. So you see this whole coming out with the eyeball scanner. The eyeball scanner is everywhere now. It's got a heavy rotation in all the promotionals going around. Have you guys seen it? Altman's making the rounds. This thing's showing up. This eyeball scanner.
Well, I think it's going to, of course, go full force in August, right? So, but it's been a thing lately, and I see it coming to banks, see it coming to the supermarket, wherever else. I think that's I think that's the way forward. I think that's what they're planning.
It's becoming Gattaca pretty fast, isn't it? I mean, that's what it is. It's more Gattaca than Nazi trains back in the day. You're asking for your papers. Well, that's happening too. Like, I'm reading all kinds of articles where people are being told, like, not even visiting the country from outside, coming back to the country, right? To leave your phones off, don't have your phones on, use just your boarding passes, the whole thing. Mm-hmm. It's not just scanning your eyeballs; they're scanning all your devices. Yeah, and you're not supposed to be able to do that, but they do it anyway. And so, just by leaving it off or in airplane mode, just to get out of the airport or whatever, you're going to be saved from a lot of hassle potentially.
Man,
we didn't sign up for this, man. We didn't sign up for that, right? What the hell?
No.
So.
No, and that's the thing. But the thing is there's going to be no resisting it. Also, really, the one aspect of what we're going to talk about tonight that I didn't really look at, and we maybe can delve into a little bit right now, just kick it around and see what you guys think from an idea perspective, because if I'm moving forward into this digital world, okay, and when you ain't in it, you ain't in it. So you're going to be the dirty-faced orphans and people down under the overpass over in the freedom zone or whatever. So...
Please, sir, can I have some more?
Yeah, exactly. What are people going to do for how are you going to operate once you've been taken out? People think there's going to be a black market or some sort of bartering system. What do you guys think? I mean,
well, I'm sure there will be. I mean, there's going to be a ton of people who are going to still trade in cash, even once the cash goes away. And
well, when they're trading in cash, it's like, well, what is your cash worth now? It's only going to be worth something to you and me if I say, hey, Rio, here's $100 bill for that, whatever you got.
Right, but if enough people, well, I mean, it depends on how many people stay on that, right? There'll become a point where you'll have to turn your money into the bank and they'll shred the paper. And, it'll get scarcer and scarcer, but...
Well, that's what I'm saying. At what point? Because people say... There'll be a black market barter system. You will be able to survive outside the system somehow.
Well,
you'll be able to have a flip phone, and
you better start collecting those 1 gram gold ingots now, so you can, break off the little piece and trade the gold, right?
Okay, now you're talking.
Isn't that the thing they keep telling us?
Now you're talking.
Gold chains, yeah,
exactly.
The little links,
gold
yeah.
Chains.
You know what, though? I think it's going to be like potentially the coolest thing ever for 20 years or so, where, follow me on this one, where you're not dying of some terrible disease or something because you're not getting medical treatment anymore. The cool part will be the bartering commodity will be entertainment. It'll be, live music. It'll be art. It'll be the food you grow, the food you cook. Like a gourmet cook will be like invaluable. out there living outside the system, right? I mean, all these things we barter for your labor, for your knowledge, for your electrical knowledge, let's say, for your knowledge of construction, building a house. You're out there Amish with your beard. You're gonna be raising a barn, get so much in return. But all this kind of idea of everybody giving their best of what humans have to offer as part of their bartering. I mean, actual talent, an actual talent. It used to call, they used to call currency talents. That was what it was called way back when, right?
Mm-hmm.
So many talents, right?
Well,
That's what it is. When you turn to barter, you're turning to talents. Yeah.
Well, you got to be a craftsman.
Yeah.
You got to be
a musician or an artist.
No, I just mean craftsman and whatever it is. If you're a craftsman,
yeah, exactly.
You do whatever whatever you do is craftsman like, because you use that rudiment and that lexicon to sort of put something together out of nothing. Mine's Jimmy. We're putting something together out of nothing right here on Revolution Radio, 9 o'clock Pacific every Friday night. We're happy to be here. We've been here for a long time. How many years have we been here, Rio? Are you?
Oh, I don't know. Long time.
Hey. So
10 years or better, I guess.
Yeah, we've been over here a while. Anywho, but back to what we were saying. So yeah, in the future. So, I mean, my idea, and we've talked about it a long time ago, as a sort of a scenario. But now we've gotten way closer to the actual scenario. So I'll bring it up again. So let's say they got to get rid of this paper money, this money that's in the bank, the money that's sitting there that you put in there, those 20s, those 100s came in from your paycheck or whatever, you put your check in there. They need to convert that over to this new digital money. So I think your money will have an expiration date at some point and maybe coming up soon, because like I say, you see this eyeball scanner, it's all around, everybody's talking about it. It's here, it's there. So Rio did some reverse speech and said eyeball scanner in August.
Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah, and so Basel III is coming into effect July 1st. The end of June, there's people are looking for something big to happen, and who knows, maybe it will. But if it does, let's say we want to get rid of the dollar, the paper dollars that are in those banks. We got to get rid of them. We give the first when we first going to do it, first 30 days, we're going to give you $1.50 for every dollar that's in there, and then the second 30 days or 60 days later, we're going to give you 50% of that dollar. And then the last 30 days, we're going to give you 25%. And after that, whatever that money you had or whatever, it's not going to be worth anything anymore.
Dude, sorry, go ahead. I just came up with an idea.
Go ahead.
So check this out. What I was thinking is, like, when you were saying that initially, I was thinking, well, they'll start to discontinue the currency based on the serial numbers, right? And serial numbers have certain chains, like the ones CL516, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And that'll be the first one that goes out. And what they'll say, the way they'll justify it is to stimulate the economy, we're going to eliminate this set of serial numbers effective July 31st. So you have to go spend those, right? You have to go spend those. It goes out in the economy because you have to go buy things, whatever, still full value until that date. And then they'll keep doing that until they're all out there. So it stimulates the economy by making people have those serial numbers, right? Spend their money. People have their money in digital currencies in the bank. They don't have cash. They'll have to get cash at some point. Like, that's how they have to do it, right? Or they'll translate the currency that you have in the bank that isn't currency with paper currency into the federal coin or whatever it's going to be, right? So people will still have cash. They're going to be forced to spend it at like you say, depreciating returns the longer it goes, with deadlines on some of them. But it's also a way they'll still justify it by saying it's going to boost the economy by making people spend these unspent dollars, putting it out there in the economy, making the economy grow. And people will buy into it. They will. They'll absolutely buy it.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. Most people would buy it if you said, "I'll give you $1.50 for every dollar."
Yeah, exactly.
There's no one's going to question it, and I don't think I think a lot of younger people will go along with these electronic measures that we're going to be talking about, because why wouldn't you? Most people, if you look, if you're the dude with the flip phone sitting there, everybody else is cruising up going boop 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 boop. with their Apple Pay or whatever they're doing with their phone. They don't even pull ID out anymore.
You don't see cash here in Hawaii hardly ever anymore.
I'll tell you guys here. Let me give you a personal story real quick. Just not because I care about the story part, but I'm going to tell you about the system and why I think it's weird and dangerous. Okay, so I needed to renew my insurance policy at the beginning of May, and I didn't get any letters from my insurance company to remind me that I needed to go over there and do it. So it canceled on me. All right, I didn't know it, and then all of a sudden, I get this piece of mail from the DMV. DMV tells me my registration has been suspended for lack of insurance. Okay, I've been living in California my whole life. My insurance has lapsed before, and it's not like an instantaneous letter coming from the state telling me my registration is suspended. And the reason I'm telling you about it is because that means that somewhere there's some sort of an AI trigger that is scanning the face of the earth for drivers whose insurance lapses. And the minute they see it, they send you a letter. Now, it caused a whole bunch of ramifications because I had to go try to pay that, which I couldn't do online, and then I had to go down to the DMV and sit over there, and I had to go through all these changes. When I was at the DMV, they asked me for my proof of insurance, and I took my phone and I handed it to the lady, and she looked at my insurance card on my phone, and that was good enough for her. And I saw a bunch of other people doing it, using their phone and showing. So now your phone it's okay to show somebody your phone like that, I guess. But the main thing is the system already caught a driver and made it so if I didn't read that letter, if I didn't read it, I'd be driving down the road and I get pulled over because cops sitting behind me at the light and he ran my license plate number for whatever just because he's sitting there. You know what I mean? You know.
Well, no, it just flags you automatically. The cameras actually have the AI hooked to them, and as soon as it sees you and sees that license number, it flags you right away. Geolocates you and has the nearest officer pull you over.
There you go.
That's where it's going. Yeah.
There's no question that's where it's going. But I mean, it's a little bit unnerving, to say the least. Not to mention all the hassle that it caused me. Because I went to the DMV. They said, you can't pay that here. I said, what? He says, yeah, no, you got to pay. No, listen, I swear to God. He says, you can't pay that here. I go, what do you mean? He goes, no, you got to go online and pay it. I said, well, I tried to pay it online, but I couldn't do it because it said it didn't have a registry. And he said, well, here, give me your phone. I handed him my phone. He goes, he scrolls. He opens the page. He gets it ready for me. He goes, here, just put your da-da-da in here. Put your license plate number in here. Put your last 5 of your, vehicle ID. Go out to my car. I walk out of there. I've been standing there for 20 minutes. Now I leave and there's 300 people in line. I go out to my car. I put the shit in there like he told me to. It says the same exact thing it said before that that it had no record of my da-da-da-da. So now I got to go back in there. Believe me, it wasn't a good... I'm starting to get heated now. It was Anyhow, so immediately when I found that out, I called my insurance company and I said, what the F? And they said, oh, blah, 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 blah. And I said, okay. Well, they said, well, yeah, all you got to do is just pay it right now and everything will be fine. I go, okay, boom, let's pay it. Boom, I paid it. Now what? So they said, we'll send it over there right now to let them know that you have insurance. What if that's all? I mean, that ties into what we're talking about tonight. Because some bullshit like that could happen to you, and all of a sudden, you can't get in the door, you can't go to the ATM, you can't go to 7-Eleven.
They have a name for that, due process. You didn't get to do. They took away your insurance, or expired. They took away your license. They didn't inform you. They denied all these benefits to you without due process. You never got the letter. You never even knew, right?
Exactly. And what's even worse is this, is that now that you're mentioning due process, when he said I couldn't pay it there, that really set off a red flag for old Jimmy. Because immediately what I'm thinking is, I wonder if someone came with some sort of software that says they went to the state of California, went to Department of Motor Vehicles, and they said, look, you're not making any money off of this right now. Okay? But listen, I developed some software that literally will scan the fucking earth. And the minute someone's insurance runs out, I can generate a letter. Because you know what? It costs $19 to show your insurance card. So they're making $19. Now let's just say this company, they say to the DMV, look, I'm going to handle all the back end. I'm going to do the legwork. I developed the software. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you $5 for everyone, and I'm going to keep the rest. Why wouldn't the DMV do that? Just make a bunch of money that you weren't making before for no reason, doing nothing? I mean, why would they say no to something like that? I'm not saying that's what happened. But I'm saying when I can't give you $19 at the DMV for the thing that you're sending me a piece of paper for, then that makes me think there's a third party involved. What do you guys think? Third party?
The digital bounty hunters. Yeah, exactly. This is horrible. Or the bounty generators. You didn't have a bounty before, but now you do. Now you do. They get the sketch of you. They get the sketch of you from the overhead cam at the library. It's not a sketch; it's the photo of you walking down, wanted for lack of possession of bona fide insurance. Next thing you know, you got the bots chasing you down the street. You got those robot dogs everywhere. They're gonna start coming out and hounding you. Pun intended.
Yeah, no, it's actually mind blowing when you think about it. One thing like that can domino effect all this other shit, and then you have this whole overarching, futuristic, transhuman agenda that's moving forward, as we speak. And it's uncomfortable. We're moving into a future where you could literally be erased. Someone was talking about it. I was doing some research around this subject matter, and there was people that were, had been in the movie business or been musicians, this and that, and they were saying how they were afraid their whole career could get erased. They could just erase your ass out of every movie you were in.
They're gonna Sinbad Genie movie you. Yeah, exactly.
Take you to get rid of all your music. Can't find it anywhere. Just like the guy who went to the bank with the ATM card. He's just like, hey man, I'm the guy from that band. What band? With the song. What song? The one that goes like this. Oh.
You too. You've heard of U2, right? No, never heard of it.
Never heard of you. Never heard of you before, man. I don't know.
Am I bugging you? Yeah, it's Bono out there trying to explain himself. I could totally see it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
No, it could totally happen. That's the thing too. Like as we go more and more into information age technology, where everything is digital based. That's what I was saying so many years ago. We've talked about it, where you could actually have pictures of the Loch Ness monster and UFOs landing in the White House lawn. And if you took it with a digital camera, it's not valid evidence. It's not, because it could be altered at any time because it's digital, right? Even though you were there, you had the witnesses with you, and you have the actual photos you took live time with a timestamp. It's not valid. You need a Polaroid. You need something that's analog. And there's a war against analog reality. There is. Where analog reality is going to be considered in the same. I hate to use the term. We can't use the term with the Michelle Pfeiffer thing, but it's going to be considered like a disease. Like analog's a disease. It's got to be beaten back, because it's only because of analog things that things change unexpectedly. And as long as things change unexpectedly, we can have revolutions, we can have all these things, we can have disease and all these other problems. As long as we can keep that from happening, we can control and make a perfect society. Therefore, analog needs to be outlawed. What is that really saying? That's saying that you're outlawing God, right? God's the analog source wave of reality, right? The voice of reality is the voice of God. That's the analog source wave of reality. And if you're taking that out, then what are you doing? You're making that artificial replication that you can control.
I agree with you, Epic Journeyman.
This is my fire ant induced fever dream, I guess, expounding upon. But yeah, I do think that there's something to that. Like the technocrats really do fear just analog reality. The idea of randomness in nature is horrifying to them because they can't control it.
Rock and Rio, you ain't saying anything, but jump in here, Sonny boy, because we got about 10 minutes before the top of the hour. And we got to get ready to move on over to Ground Zero Plus. So, but what are you thinking, man? Are you going to be the guy with the flip phone? Or are you
I might be. I mean, I'm resisting moving into the future as much as possible. All these forced updates and, got to get the new smartphone so that you can interface with your Neuralink and your brain chip implant. And, I think it was Apple was talking about this for the next, they obviously are having problems with getting their artificial intelligence working properly. But, one of their goals is to make your iPhone interface with your Neuralink brain chip, so that you can control it by thought. And, that's pretty creepy in my opinion.
Yeah, well, we've proven beyond the shadow of a doubt that you do not need any sort of implantation for the same kind of result. Actually, I got a video from Sabrina from the other day, and she looks like she's going berserker. Like she thinks it's starting to get to her, I think, Anyhow, I'll see if I might be able to send it to you and then play it. Or I might be able to play it off my iPad loud enough in this mic for it to come through. All right, listen, we only got about 10 minutes left. Now, Rio, you're going to have to hang up over there on Revolution Radio because, right? And then call me and Epic back.
Well, I still have 12 minutes to hang up, so, because... we have 10 minutes left to the top of the hour. So
yeah,
we're good.
All right. Well, we're coming in hot at 10 o'clock on Ground Zero Plus. So just hang up on us and on me and Epic here, or I'll hang up on you guys, and then just call me back.
Yeah, we can do that.
All right. Listen, we still haven't gotten this phone thing settled either. I can give out that number later, but the problem is that if more than one person calls, then it rings while we're talking to the other person. So it would require restraint and control. And I don't know, when people are calling in, they just dial because they hear the number and they call. So you can't control it.
Yeah, well, I'm looking into a alternative method of taking calls. So
okay,
we'll
good.
See.
I know. Well, we missed the calls, man. So, CAC, are you coming in here? Are you adding CAC? CAC
I could.
In the chat. Let us know in this chat over here if you want us to add you coming up, because we're coming in now. Listen, we'll give you some insight. So, there's something called 402. It's been built into the internet. Right now, it's some sort of an error, but it was built originally for financial transactions. And it's sitting there right now. And it's going to be something that everyone is going to see. Because those days of you surfing the internets and all that for free, going on this page and that page, well, guess what? Coming up soon, micropayments. Like when you go over to InfoWars, check it out. Well, you don't go there for free anymore. Now just viewing a page, you'll get a 402 message and you'll pay electronically. Micropayments coming out of your new digital monies. You got to scan your eyeball for it.
Yeah. Well, the microtransaction thing has already been, beaten to death in the gaming world, where, you pay 99 cents for this, or $2 for that, or $10 for this, or...
Mm-hmm. That was the pilot.
Next thing you know, you've spent $1,000 on this video game, right?
Yeah, well, that was the pilot program, homie.
Yeah, exactly.
Now it's going to be built on the XRP rails.
Yep, come right out of your bank account. or
No question.
whatever account.
CAC. You're welcome to join us, man. So you let us know if that's what you want to do.
I just saw a message come through, but
All right. Well, listen. Let's just get ready to go here. What do we got? Like 4 minutes before we get off Rub Radio? All right.
yeah.
All right. It's in the microcosm. Friday night. Get ready to join Ground Zero Plus. Yeah.
Yeah, the other day I got invited to a party, but I stayed home instead. Just me and my pal Johnny Walker and his brothers Blackie and Red, and we drank alone. Yeah, with nobody else. Yeah, you know when I drink alone, I prefer to be by myself.
Too much shit.
But I don't think so no more. I said it's fine before. I've changed my mind. I take it back. Erase and rewind. 'Cause I've been changing my mind. Erase and
It's Ground Zero Plus.
Rio Cupertino conference call.
Yeah. It's Friday night.
Outside my window, there's a whole lot of trouble coming. The cops and killers and the rank of a clones.
Hour number 2.
Heels kicking the rhythm of social circumcision.
We got a good one planned for you tonight.
To stress you out. This whole world is drug infested, hate infested, drug infested world. Hate drugs. I heard the worst drug story. You know, my friend told me, you know what he's dealing with? His landlord is hooked on crack. That's terrible. That's pressure. If your landlord's hooked on crack, that means you've got to have the rent. You come around all the time. I got the rent. It's not even due yet. It's the 10th. Come on, I need it. Well, let me just get $20 of it now, and then just give me the rest of the other month. Every couple hours. Hey, look, I'm gonna need some more of the rent. This building's falling apart. Things came up. Comes home early from a party. Landlord's in the crib going through his shit.
I'm not sweating any consequences. I
Damn. That was kicking ass. I almost didn't want to turn it off. It's into the microcosm. My name is Jimmy. It's Ground Zero Plus. You know, we're fully listener supported. Come on down. Become supporters. If you're listening on TalkStream Live or you're listening to us another time somewhere else, make sure you come on down. That was Clutch. Slaughter Beach on Ground Zero Plus. My name's Jimmy. Rock Rio's here. Epic Journeyman has come back after a fire ant infestation. Man. That song kicks ass. Old boy? Old men? Old fellas? Mm-hmm. Alright, listen. What the hell's going on around here? Because we got stuff to talk about. Digital erasure is one of the most critical and under-discussed concepts of the 21st century. At its core, it refers to intentional deletion, suppression, or invisibilization of a person's digital identity and presence to point where they become effectively non-existent in the digital and social systems that now govern everything from banking to healthcare, to communication and reputation. That's what we're going to be talking about. And among other things. But, so there. What's that going to be like? Has something ever happened to you? You go down the ATM, you need to get $20 out, you want to go buy something. You go down there, get your cash, and all of a sudden, your ATM card doesn't work. I mean, that in and of itself is bad enough, right, you guys? I mean, seriously. I mean, that's a tragedy at that point, right? What will you do at that point?
Look at those people in Greece, right? It happened to them.
Yeah. It's not my fault. Hey, it's the computer. Hey, dude, where's my money? Do you have no money? Well, what do you mean I have no money? Yeah, it says here you got zero. What do you mean it says there I got zero? It says here on my paperwork that I have something in there. Well, it says here you got zero. Hey man, if you better call your manager. Well, there's nothing we can do. It's the machine, man. It's the computer. It says it. What can I do? I just work here. As a matter of fact, it's time for my lunch, so I'm gonna go make myself some ramen noodles back in the microwave.
Talk to RoboBob here. He'll take care of you. He's trained in 47 languages.
Yeah, exactly. Talk to Robot Bob. Have you been to the mall lately? Do you know they have these cutouts that look like people, and then they have digital screens that are pasted onto them so they look like people, and they talk, and they stand there and they give you some spiel about whatever. The place I'm talking about in particular that I walked by there was a jewelry store in a mall, and it had a flat 3D. I mean, it was flat, but it looked 3D. It looked like a real person. It looked like a, you know what it actually looked like? It looked like one of those people in The Fifth Element. Those androids that are everywhere, working at counters behind the counter.
Right.
They all look the same. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think we're that far though from there. But
Well, I mean, the virtual AI assistants are becoming a thing, right? It's almost like you see the video screen, you can't tell if it's a real person or a fake person. So, as they're adding 3D to it. That's just the next step in the effects loop, right?
well, I'm just kind of going over some of these notes here, and basically digital erasure, systematic erasure of you and your personal data off the internet, just to make you disappear, just like that. Yeah, non-compliance. What happens? So what are they doing down in Australia? They're limiting how much money you can take out. Okay, so, and they're doing this not just in Australia, but there a lot of people, that people that I know personally, I won't mention any names, but people that I know personally got a letter, saying, hey man, we're going to limit how much you can take out. And so, I mean, coming ahead of this next month or two in this financial restructuring of the planet that's going on right now, because people are really coming alive on the idea of these smart contracts and putting money on, putting oil on, oil contracts on crypto, and just building this whole infrastructure for everything to happen. And so what's amazing is that it seems like it's just about to happen. So the Fed and the Fed coin network is supposed to go online this month. A bunch of stuff's supposed to happen. And we've been joined by CAC. What's happening, CAC?
Hey, what's up, Jimmy? What's up, Epic, Rio? Yeah, man, scary stuff going on there. And the more I dive deep into it, the scarier it gets.
Now, did you happen to look into this Schwartz Satoshi connection?
Yeah. David Schwartz, and I also came across something that reaches back even prior to that, which involves Meyer Lansky of all people.
Interesting.
And it goes deep, man. It goes, the Federal Reserve Act.
Hold on to that information about.
Yeah, I'm not gonna open that up. But I'm just saying,
I want to open it up, but not yet, because there's another aspect to what we're talking about, and that is this 402 stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, and David Schwartz was instrumental in setting
that up.
Well, he designed the Ripple XRP. Whole thing is designed to run on that.
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah.
So
and he was a subcontractor for the NSA. Not directly working with the NSA, but subcontracting.
Well, so Rock and Rio and Epic Journeyman. Now, Epic Journeyman, back when Schwartz and Elon Musk and Thiel, these guys were all hanging around at the same time in the same place, pretty much. You know what I mean?
Playing Dungeons and Dragons together, yeah.
well, I'm just saying. Now it's being announced over and over again. We all know that Elon Musk goes back with this idea of X. He was going to have something called X a long time ago.
The original PayPal, yeah.
Right.
And Peter Thiel formalized it into PayPal. He didn't like the name X, but yeah, that's where it all goes back to.
Right.
And it was always supposed to be like the platform like Amazon, but it includes everything, all forms of commerce, all forms of identification, all forms of currency, basically digitized.
The everything app.
And and so then he bought Twitter, and then now he renamed it X, and now it's going to be X money. It's going to be the everything app that he's been talking about. Now he also. There's lots of rumors that he's going to choose XRP or Stellar XLM, but that X seems to be everywhere now. That white X, the same one that looks like Twitter, it kind of looks like XRP in a way, kind of. Wouldn't you say, CAC? It's a little bit similar.
I would say, yeah, we're X'd in there. Yeah.
X marks the spot, man. Remember the big X with the
treasure? Yep.
Remember the X for the eclipse too? Was that X also?
Ooh. Oh yeah.
The American X. All right. So listen. ATMs reject your card. Transit gates won't open. Smart locks don't recognize you. Facial recognition marks you as non-existent. Your calls and texts are never delivered. You're locked out of your own life. Mechanisms of digital erasure are deplatforming, Twitter bans, YouTube removals, etc. AI-driven blacklist, automated content moderation and surveillance systems, social credit system, channel-style systems where one's behavior governs privileges, digital ID revocation. So in the future, blockchain and digital ID systems. They'll remove your key. Erasure by omission, shadowbanning, downranking, digital censorship, financial erasure, bank accounts frozen, crypto wallets, or bank accounts frozen, crypto wallets blocked, etc. Now, let me ask you a question, just for people's ID, because we're not giving financial advice. But let me ask you a question, CAC. And
Act away, man.
Okay, Rock and Rio and Epic German, you can jump in here on this too if you have any input. CAC, would you say institutional custody is better than wallets and all this other bullshit? Like, for example, you don't need a broker to buy crypto, but if you use one, it's institutional custody where you are actually the owner of it, whereas opposed to if you have it somewhere else, you're a holder of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And my understanding, is if you have like a wallet, say on your phone or on your laptop, you're the custodian of your own crypto. Now, if it's something that you bought from Cash App or from Coinbase, and you're just holding it there, then they're the custodians. And you don't necessarily, if you get canceled, they could cancel. They've canceled people. Coinbase has canceled people with a lot of crypto on there and just said, we're just going to take this and you can't use this anymore. So as Andreas Antonopoulos said many, many years ago, if it's not your keys, it's not your coins.
Okay, well, so it's saying here, getting your keys and turning them off is part of how they're going to turn your ass off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they could hack into that. And that's why they talk about cold wallets or paper wallets. And, the whole digital hygiene thing is an ongoing process.
All right.
And, of course,
this is where the rubber meets the road for the general population. Because let me tell you something. People ain't going to go through all these changes to capture their money and hide it on some cold wallet that's never been on the internet or never been around any wireless or Bluetooth or whatever else it is.
Right.
People just want to go down and swipe their card down at the gas station, and so it has to be like that. And so that's how it's going to be. And it's going to be like that because of this, like we were saying earlier, this 402 thing. Here, let me scroll down to my notes on this thing.
No, that's interesting because what they do is they've gotten us used to the convenience, right? And it's almost like a new social contract. And also like, a form of security too. The fob keys, right? To get in and out of our cars, our work, our homes, playgrounds, health clubs, all that stuff, Yeah, we don't want to be cut off from that, do we?
No. And I mean, so like Epic was mentioning and reiterating earlier, there's going to be levels, right? So it's not going to be just one thing. There's going to be levels of, what your access is. You can get through this door, but you can't go down that hallway. You know what I mean? You can.
It's a gamification of it, right? Like that's the whole thing. Like the idea that you're going to accept it instead of it being a caste system, like it really is. They'll think of it like, oh, it's a gamification. I just need to get to the next level. People will accept the idea that they can attain that next level, even though they never really can. In a lot of cases, I mean, that's the world of technocracy in this veiled assault that we're facing right now.
Hey, what if I scan your window and I see that you don't have thermal windows and you're leaking out CO2?
You're dropping a tear, buddy. You're dropping a tear. Yeah, back down to cloud 2. Sorry.
Because remember there was that thing where for a while there was some app where people could go around and see if you were contributing to global warming. That was back when it was called.
Neil was based on that. Yeah. Like it had the whole thing where how much you were saving, with energy would reward you, and how much you were, taking too much energy. Yeah, it bind you, not bind you, but demote you, essentially. where all your neighbor, it was like public shaming. That was the idea. They never built it, right? But that was the idea. Like when somebody's running the air conditioner too much, their house looks red. Everybody else has little LEDs going, you know. And if somebody else is doing good, they'll be blue, green, or whatever.
Okay, so what if they said, what if they came in like a digital Jesus, and they said, listen, we're gonna erase everything from here back, from we're starting right now. And you don't have to worry about anything. We're going to start, everyone's going to start fresh. If you had bad credit in the past, don't worry about that. You got good credit now. It's yours to fuck it up. We're reinstating everything. Here you go. What do you think people would do? You know what I mean? I mean, the thing is you could move forward and have all those embarrassing moments taken away that you have on the internet. All that stuff that you did, all that, crazy stuff back when you were crazy. You know, getting drunk and doing all that shit. You know what I mean? I mean, would you want to erase your past if you could?
That seems like the easy way. It's going to be like, yeah, hallelujah, Jubilee time, and fresh start, you know. But, hey, you know, where's your tail?
Yeah.
Where's your story? Where are you? Where do you go from zero?
Well,
some people are willing to take that chance, though.
You better do it right. You know what I'm saying? Guy Freeman in there saying internet amnesty. Yeah, man. We got a bunch of people in both of these chats. Are you in the, I haven't gone to Ground Zero Plus yet for the chat room. See what's going on over there. We'll shout you guys out in a minute. As soon as we get this figured out, what's happening over here. So listen, I know it's late, and I don't want to get all weird and technical with you guys. All right, but listen, this is important. So listen, HTTP status code 402, payment required. It was originally reserved for the future use in the digital payment systems and never widely implemented until now. It's a ghost code, like a placeholder for a transactional internet that hasn't existed. Now it's reappearing. Why? Because XRP and ISO 222 compliant ledgers. The infrastructure to use HTTP 402 has finally arrived. So here comes this dude, David Schwartz, who we were just talking about, the original. There's rumors that he may or may not have, be Satoshi or whatever. So listen here. David Schwartz, the architect behind the ledger, CTO of Ripple, cryptographic systems designer and co-inventor at XRP Ledger, holds patents for distributed ledger protocol that mirror the functionality of HTTP level integration. In 1988, patents literally described a multi-level distributed network with transaction-level control over communication, a precursor to smart money routing. So money and data sharing the same highway has always been a dream of Mr. Schwartz.
Sharing the same highway. You know what's interesting about that? The time frame lines up with the Temple of Set demon on the internet, doesn't it?
It does.
Because that was the whole thing. It lined up with every transaction HTTP protocol with I forget which one it was, number 4 or whatever. I'll think of the name in a second. Go hit Windows, you can look it up, whatever 4, right? Every transaction that does that, it was going to be on, right? But you couldn't see it. That lines up with this. The time frame, 88, 87,
it
somewhere.
Does.
Yeah.
Listen to this now. Cac and Rio. Remember when cable TV first came out, there was no commercials on there. And it was just movies, whatever. It was no, there's HBO, there's Showtime, whatever there was. Mm-hmm. You just paid a fee. You know what I mean? And then eventually it got to, well, here, you're going to pay the fee, but then you also, if you want Showtime, you got to pay extra for that. And if you want this, you got to pay extra for that, and so on and so forth. So you got to keep buying the channels and buying in. And so there was this idea that Internet 2 was going to be something like that, where you had to pay for each individual thing. In other words, if whatever it was, you just paid for it at the time.
Yeah, like an a la carte. Yeah.
Right. So listen, this is why this 402 thing is going to blow you away. Listen to this. It's going to be the gatekeeper for all web-based access. Want to open up a document? 402 pay-per-view. Want to listen to a track? 402 auto-debit micro-token. Want to use an AI model? 402 streamed fractions of XRP by the second. It's the pay-to-live architecture. And if you're living in the internet ghetto over there, you won't be able to see shit on the internet. You know how when you go right now, when you go to some of these, you do a search and you go click on something, you fly over to the web page, and then you get this big giant banner in there saying that they use cookies and this and that. And unless you go down there and make a decision about it, they're not going to let you see the content. Well, it's going to be like that, except for you're not going to be able to see it because you got to pay to see it. You just see every time an eye looks at something, you're going to get paid. You see what I'm saying? And imagine that. How many eyeballs are there in the world looking at the internet? I mean, imagine.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying, imagine the amount of money. Even if you're talking micro payments, you see what I'm saying? Billions of micro payments going on millions of times every day.
Billions of pennies is still millions of dollars, right?
Exactly.
Well, the Obama phones were handed out, right? And there's like times millions of those units, so potential. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so listen. Example: self-driving truck pays tolls automatically as it moves through space. Soldier receives hazard pay only while inside a designated zone. You're denied financial access if your coordinates don't match permissioned zones. So maybe there's some place you can get to if you're a level 4. If you're still a level 3, and you gotta raise up to level 4 because you can't. Your card doesn't work over here in this mall. You can't go in. I could totally
see permission zones being the name that catches on, like just accept it because it sounds like it's normal. Hey, sorry, Jim, you're not in the right permission zone. You keep working at it though, you'll get there.
Exactly. It could be a new. It could be a new Romeo and Juliet where somebody's in the permission zone and the other one isn't, and they can't come in there. Sorry, you can't come in.
Yeah, and they're separated by plexiglass.
Well, can you come out if you're a level 4? Can you slum and go down to level 3? Go have some fun and then bust back behind the wall where no one can come and get you.
You get some analog goodness going on and not seen in the digital world. Because you know what'll happen? Everybody's going to have their digital enhancements, right? Where they're going to see things enhanced. Almost like those filters they have on Instagram for the girls who want to make themselves look better than they really are. Like the makeup, kind of apps they use to make them look better, to Instagram filters. And everybody's going to have that profile they emit to the world that people in the digital world with their amplified glasses will be able to see, right? Or even eye implants or brain implants. And the more digitized it becomes, the more prevalent that'll be, to where that will be accepted as reality. To where if you do something beyond that's not seen by that, back in the old analog, get the on kind of way, it won't even be seen.
Well, what if you just look a certain way? It's not even how you even really look.
And that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. And the way they punish you is by taking those filters away. So if you're level 4, you have permission zone or cloud 5 or whatever, right? And you blow it, they take away. You don't look like Kardashians anymore. You look like that, fat chick from the trailer camp in Alabama. That
I'm ugly.
Yeah, right. And I'm not picking up fat chicks in trailer parks in Alabama. I'm just saying, the stereotype. You know what I mean? So, you're probably some girl from New York, but they're making you look like that stereotype, to everybody else. That's your punishment.
Well, there's other ways to ID besides your face, and there's where your brain waves and your thoughts and everything are registered, and that is how you identify yourself. By your actual brain being scanned. And if you don't pass the scan, all of a sudden you can't access the zone or whatever.
The somatic brain scan test, yeah, exactly. You have to have the right vibe or you're not allowed.
Exactly. And that's the thing too. Now, if you were down in zone 3 and you went over to zone 4 where all the nice houses are and the clubs and all that, but you go down, you slumming over there at level 3, now could they chase you over to level 4? I mean, they couldn't get through the gate to get into the community, and not 15-minute level 4 community over there.
Right, you snuck into the sewer. They were never looking for that, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, totally, because that's techno crash. Not techno crash. I'm sorry, snow crash. By the way, that's exactly how snow crash is, right? Is it like Mr. Lee's New Hong Kong is like that, or all these other communities where they've taken them into these tiers of oligarchy where they, like, the mafia is legal in that world. They run the pizza company, right? So, I mean, and that's the way it is. All these communities are tiered off by these oligarchs, and they have their own private security in lieu of regular, police and fire departments and things like that. It's all private. So they make their own rules. So it'd be kind of like that, I think. Maybe not as bad as that, but that is kind of the template I think they're shooting for. We've talked about it before, and I think that's right. That's what they are shooting for. Is that those different tiers, however they name them, will be the way that they lock out the unwashed masses, the undesirables, so to speak, from their neighborhood.
Yeah,
seriously. Not just their neighborhood, their life. They won't even see them. They'll be unseen. The unseen masses, not the unwashed masses. The unseen. They won't even see them.
Let's touch on this just a minute here before we get into the quantum future of what we're talking about here. But so there's always this idea that it's possible for you to skirt the system. You want to keep your flip phone or whatever, and you don't want to give any of your information on the internet, that type of thing. But I mean, are you realistically ever going to be able to just skirt the system? We talked a little bit about it earlier this last hour, a little bit about gold chains and how whoever you are, it might be always good to have yourself a few gold chains where you can cut links out, or if it's a flat chain you can cut pieces out, because I mean that's what else are you going to use for money? The thing is, if digital money takes over, paper money's gone. And what does it mean when me and Epic are exchanging $100 bills? If I got $100 bills here and I'm handing them to Epic, they don't mean shit. They're nothing now. They're paper.
They're the glass beads from Manhattan Island, for all everybody else is concerned, right?
Right. So I mean, if me and you are still exchanging that paper money between us, making it mean something, I don't think paper money's going to mean jack shit if you're outside the system. I mean, I think what will happen what do you think? There'll be some sort of counterfeiting of cards or some way to. I don't see how you're going to be able to break over to level 4. There's no way.
It's Gattaca, right? It's DNA scan. You'd have to like DNA mask yourself, because it's going to be something on that level, won't it? It'd have to be like the best way to is not just eyeball scan, which is going back to Minority Report and things Philip K. Dick wrote. He was way ahead of his time on those things, but it's going to have to be something that level or DNA level, right, to give you access. And you can have things. The most frightening idea is the idea of DNA sniffers, where your very pheromones are what identifies you as you walk into a room. But you can make some big version of that, right? Now that'll be like the contraband of the future. The pheromone cologne doesn't get you laid; it gets you into Section 5, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's that true brave new world in the sense that just like every other form of warfare, because that's what it is. It's warfare. Every time that something's made, there's always a counter for it. It just takes a while.
Well,
right?
I'm just thinking that on some level, the idea of being a character in a video game, you could create some sort of same type of character on the internet, or when you're walking around with these glasses on. In other words, if me and you are in the same, we're playing the same game, all of us, we all have these glasses on, then the 4 of us would see things the same through those glasses. In other words, you'd see me how I was appearing to you in those glasses, but no one else would see me like that.
No.
Only you guys would. And so as long as you're in the game, then you got the it's like Grand Theft Auto or whatever. You're living in a fat house up on up in the hills or whatever, driving a fat car.
So the contraband would be like the unlicensed glasses, right? Hey man, you open up your jacket. I got these, man. Right? To give you the appearance and the rewards of being in a higher level.
Yeah,
the glasses.
Only used one. I just cleaned them.
This is
yeah, exactly.
This is just the reason why everyone's gonna beg to have their positive ID, because you don't want to lose everything you got. You don't want to lose your ability to transact in the world. If the new way to transact is this new way to do things, just like everything else. When it started out, it was kind of, remember first of all, people didn't just used to even have credit cards. Like if someone had a credit card, they were not it wasn't everybody had them.
I remember when credit cards. I mean, I was a young lad, right? They came out in the 50s or whatever, right? But even when I was a young lad in the 60s, it was so rare. It was, remember that women couldn't have a bank account until the 70s, right? So when the husbands gave them the credit card to spend, it was a big deal. It was like what we call a meme now, right? But that's what they would consider, like the credit card spending wife going on a sale spree, on a spending spree rather. And it was like the idea of the trophy wife, but not really even the trophy wife being here you go, honey, go buy yourself something nice, right?
Well, I'm just saying.
I mean, that was the standard idea of what a credit card was like a control mechanism for wealthier people to control their wives with, in a sense.
Well, whatever it was as far as controlling wives, the bottom line is what it was only certain people had them. And
right.
It was usually people who had money. Because everybody else was paying with cash.
Right.
Because they were working for a living. And then there was other people that were middle managers, whatever. Now they got these credit cards. The same thing with cell phones. When they first came out, only certain people had them because it used to cost $800 a month for your cell phone bill. So somebody had a cell phone, they had money. Okay, everybody else is paying cash. Paying that, when cell phones, then they came out with that prepaid shit. And then people could get cell phones that didn't have credit. You know what I mean? So your fucking credit's fucked up in the new world, you're fucked. You know what I mean? It's not like
that's the thing. It's become so dynamic that it's built into the system so much that, like we talked about, the social karma and social credit score. It's the infinite or ultimate rather reward. Yeah.
Part of the bundle.
It's its ultimate punishment to take it away.
What'd you say, Cap?
Who writes a check anymore? Anybody writing checks anymore?
No.
Anybody writing hot checks to cover their gas bill?
only for the water, because that's the only way they take it.
That's funny that you should say that, because I was just having that exact same conversation with Amber the other day about how people used to do that. Like if your electricity doesn't get turned off right now, if you didn't pay your bill for some reason, they didn't, you mail them a check. It takes days to get there. They get it. They cash it. It doesn't go through. They send it back. They say you didn't pay it. You got to send it. Oh, well, sorry. Let me pay it now.
Takes 10 days. Yeah, buys you 10 days.
But your power has been on the whole time. In the future, that ain't how it's going to be. It means if your bill's due on whatever 30th at 9 o'clock. If they don't have your money, your power's getting out. You're turning it off. They're turning it off right now. Just like what I'm saying. What will happen when it actually costs money, micro payments, to just surf the fucking internet? Do you know how many people are going to be shut out? In other words, right now you can get all the information you want, but if you want certain information, well, that's going to cost you money.
I think I've seen out, I think I know what it is. The out is that, okay, you can opt out, right? So if you opt in, let me rephrase it. If you opt in, surfing the internet is free. You're on the Fed coin, right? If you're in the Fed coin, you're in the system, you're getting your eyeballs scanned, all that stuff. Internet's free. You can just like you always have, and then some, right? But if you want to be anonymous, right? You have to opt out, and then it costs you.
It's
Right.
constant draining of your fucking energy system, and,
Right.
and you know, currency is the money or the energy stored. It's the electricity that you used out of your body, your life energy to make something happen. And you got some money, and what you did is you stored the energy in that money so that you could release it at another time for another reason. So you stored your money there. It's a storage system.
Yeah, compressed energy. Absolutely.
Exactamundo. Hey, this is the Microcosm Ground Zero Plus. We're here every Friday night. We follow the man, the myth, the legend. So listen, with the rise of quantum secured digital ID, brainwave authentication, and 6G immersive reality, digital erasure could one day mean your neural signal no longer verifies. Your digital soul has been revoked. You are unseen by the machine.
What happens here? Chorus.
In the chorus. Mystify. New one, yeah. You mystify me.
What happens?
One
Repeat
more.
it. Yeah.
Mystify. Mystify me. I need perfection. Some twisted selection that tangles me to keep me alive in all that exists, but none has your beauty. I see your face, and I will survive. Mystify.
In excess.
Eternally wild with the power to make every moment come alive. All the stars that shine upon you.
I would say, in my estimation, just based on some of the shows we've been doing around here the last couple months, the potentialities based on some of the things we found and what we've seen and what we perceive to be ubiquitous at this point. But it's like all those thousands of laws that you never heard of that don't mean shit unless somebody's going to enforce them. And it's the same thing with all this stuff that's going on. It's going on quietly behind the scenes every single day, all day long. You can't even know if you're being emotionally affected by some signal coming out of your phone or drilling into your skull with your iPods.
Eternally wild with the power to make every moment come alive. All the stars that shine upon you, well, they kiss you every night. Mystify, mystify me. Mystify.
Alright. Rock and Rio, you've been silent over there now
Yeah.
for quite a while. It's because you got the brisket. You smell the brisket.
I can still smell the dry rub on my hands.
I can smell the brisket.
Intoxicating odor. That's right.
It is.
There used to be this dude who used to work at this restaurant called the Fish Market. And every time that dude came around, if he was wearing his work shoes, you could smell that dude like a mile away. You'd be like, damn, what's that stench? I don't know. Oh, there he is, Stub. We used to call him Stubbs. That was his name. stubs, because he looked like a keg with 2 kickstands.
There ain't nothing fishy over here, though. That's for sure.
No, well, that's good. You got to keep everything on the up and ups. All right, listen, we're talking about getting erased, and at this point, I would say if I was looking at a timeline, I'm gonna say you got. I mean, I'm saying this without any outside, sun flares or any of this other kind of shit. Giant volcanoes going off, earthquakes, all that. I'm not throwing all that.
Going from the gut here. You're just feeling it.
I'm just throwing all that out, and I'm just saying, 2030, you better have your shit together.
Right.
That's when it's all gonna happen. I mean, all you got to do. I mean, there's plenty. I mean, we could sit here all night just tying 2030 together with everything that's being said. The WEF, all this. Harari, all this shit. All of it, man. Lieber.
The hackable humans.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't kidding, though. That's the thing. That's the thing. Hey, we're getting a message saying our meeting's going to end in 15 minutes, Rock and Rio.
Yeah, I know.
That is a hassle and a half, isn't it? Something must be done about this. I shall stand.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna buck up and pay the $4, and so we can have a 3-hour meeting and take phone calls.
Yeah, that would be nice. Well, taking the calls is the thing, because people do like calling in. It's one of the things that we enjoy also, because we can check in, hear maybe a voice of reality from out of there, or somebody else. You want to shout out the chat room over in. I haven't even made it to Ground Zero Plus here. I'll shout out the chat room in on YouTube. Events, Shorts, UK, 75, Horizon. Rowdy's over there. What's happening? Brent's over there. Guy, what's going on? Rowdy again. Guy again. Polynation's over there. Flippy's over there. Woohoo! Amber 2. Everybody's over here. All right, you over there, Rock and Rio? I'll go over to that chat room. We'll get it going on. Don't forget TalkStream Live. Let me go see where we are. What's our status on TalkStream Live? We'll see. We're about to find out the harsh realities. Is this talk interesting or is it not? We shall now know. We shall find out. The spinning snake, Ouroboros, is trying to eat its tail. Aha! We are number 6. And Clyde Lewis is number 3. John B. Wells is number 1. With Coast to Coast AM in the middle between Clyde and John B. Wells. All right, listen. We ain't going to get erased, at least for the next hour and 15 minutes. So, the thing is, man, maybe you want to be erased. I mean, at this point, where can you go where you're not seen or invisible at this point? Where is it that, is there anywhere you guys can think of that you could just go? You think moving out to
I can. Any place where there's no Starlink. And that is literally the only place left. Starlink is a net that's going around the world, reining everybody in. And as soon as it has coverage everywhere, there's no place you can go.
Well, they announced 3 weeks ago they had coverage everywhere.
It's true, though.
Yeah,
it might be.
National forest,
Well, no, I'm just saying, it's funny that you should say that, Epic Journeyman, because I know you've been down and you've been, but yeah, no, he made that announcement, which I thought was interesting because it wasn't supposed to happen for another 3 or 4 months. And then all of a sudden...
The only place they still don't have coverage is Antarctica. He says because there's supposedly no need for it down there.
Well, that's where we go then. Of course, that's where the civilization really is anyway, right? You never know, I mean, maybe that's Agartha, the interest of Agartha, and that's why.
I listened to a whole 2-hour interview the other day of a guy who was on Jeff Rentz's show, and this guy worked down at Antarctica as a plumber.
Yeah, I know a bunch of people who've been there. Yeah.
No, so I mean, he had a lot to say, and it's not like what everybody thinks or wants it to be. It's still bad enough, though, what he had to say. And the point was that he went out there and he named like 5 people. He's like, yeah, I talked to Linda Moulton Howe. He's like, I'm not afraid to name names because I went out there and told a bunch of people about what they were saying about Antarctica and this and that, and he confronted them and they wouldn't answer him or something like this. So, you know.
Yeah, I tried to go there all the way back in the 80s when I was in the Navy for Operation Deep Freeze. They called it to Fort McMurdo. And because I was a Navy submarine sonar tech, it was a critical position. They wouldn't let me go. You get double leave while you're there and all that stuff. But yeah, no, a bunch of people have been there. So it's not really that big of a mystery. But the point, yeah, I mean, but it is a mystery in the sense that the average public, nobody can go there.
Right, and the original thought was, where can you go where there is no Starlink? And that is the idea, is that place, but there's no way you could live there. It's impossible. So, and this guy was on both poles. So he went back and forth. And so, you know, now he's coming out as a whistleblower. He went up to Congress. He said some stuff. He's talking about directed energy weapons. He's talking about a bunch of stuff going on up there. And interesting conversation. But the point being is that there won't be anywhere that you can go where there is an internet. And that's the thing, is that this whole thing is going to revolve around the internet. So the internet has to constantly be on everywhere all the time. There has to be service. You know, you have to have coverage. You know, it's butts and seats. You know what I'm saying? All right, listen. You guys have anything else to say about this here?
About the eraser idea? I think so, because, I mean, what happens to people who get erased, right? So then what? So cause I can see it being 2 ways. It could be one where, like, you don't exist digitally at all, right? So all your money's cut off, all that stuff. We've talked about that. But the other idea is that you're erased from everybody else's perspective because they have enhanced. Once Neuralink goes online, once you have these glasses everywhere, once you have the implants everywhere, you're just masked. You're like a static figure. This snow on a screen. Like a Black Mirror episode, you know.
Well, what if talking to old Jimmy, knocks you down a notch over there?
Well, yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Like, you get lower and lower resolution, so eventually, you don't exist in any recognizable form. And the only way for people to recognize you is to take off their glasses, opt out of their heightened sense of awareness. If they're on cloud 5, they have to come down to your level, right, to see you and interact with you. And I think that's probably possible. That'll probably be possible.
Yeah,
but then it's an alarm, right?
I don't think they're going to completely erase you. I think they're just going to lock you out of everything. So,
well, you'll just be a servant class. You'll be the maids and the people doing janitorial work and people working down in the cellars.
I think they'll do it as a torture method, right? So,
yeah.
you will comply with the system, or you're going to starve and you're going to sleep outside, and you're going to.
No, you won't be sleeping outside in the new world, man. You're gonna have none of that messy bullshit going on.
Well,
they're gonna throw you in.
You're certainly not gonna be sleeping in the house. They might throw you in jail.
No, you ain't gonna be sleeping in the house. You're gonna be
camp or something.
You're gonna be sleeping in one of those death pods where they throw you in there and suck the nitrogen.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be recycled. Yeah, you'll go down the chute from the world inside. Robert Silverberg's The World Inside. Yeah, exactly.
And nobody will complain. You disobey. And all your neighbors will cheer. The truck will pull up and they'll say, "There he is, the parasite. Look at him laying there on the sidewalk."
The man who wouldn't comply.
Little Johnny tripped over him on the way to school.
Johnny broke his leg.
Yeah, it's got to go down the chute. Got to put him down the chute. Get recycled. Put him back in the system.
Rio, are you gonna shout out that chat room over in Ground Zero Plus? Are you in there?
I am in there.
All right, shout those guys out, because you know what the thing is, we don't want to get them erased. We want to
don't get erased.
No, you don't want to be erased. And this way, if you mention their names, then they will forever be here. Somewhere.
It's the term. Like, I've always talked about how get with the program is going to mean a lot in the future, because they've been throwing our heads for years and years. I mean, decades, right? But rubber hits the road, getting erased, right? That's going to catch on too, because it has a new connotation now. Yeah, the rubber hits the road. If you're trying to race you got to hit the road. You got to go.
And the
You
bulk
gotta escape.
eraser too. Remember the bulk eraser?
The bulk eraser?
Yeah.
You mean like the big rubber eraser, right?
No, I'm talking about the bulk eraser. Just demagnetize it. It's clean slate.
Oh, that eraser. Yeah. The degaussing.
Yep.
Yeah. I think that's all the NASA tapes from the moon landing.
I'm gonna see if I can dig out. I'm gonna see
That's
if I.
that's hilarious.
I'm gonna see if I
right.
can dig out this Sabrina tape that I got on my iPad. I just don't know if I can get it onto the show computer. I might have to play it directly from my iPad, but I think I did some work on this board today, so I'm thinking maybe you'll be able to hear it good enough, and I won't have to go through all these changes. But I'll do that top of the hour. Listen, Ground Zero Plus, we're fully listener supported. Come on down, become supporters. Keep it all going. Ground Zero, of course, the anchor, the mothership, and then of course it's the Plus and all the other great shows that are here on the network. So listen, come on down, become supporters, and get behind there, and you'll see there's plenty of really great stuff for your monthly donation. So like I say, come on down, become supporters. Revolution Radio is also fully listener supported, and come on down to Revolution Radio and be supportive of free speech. We're still over there. We're hanging tough on TalkStream Live. We're boxing it out. We're still number 6. Right below Clyde's above us, and we're below Clyde. So there you go. Boom. All right, listen, don't get deleted. Yeah, they'll throw you in the work camps. Well, the thing is why even bother with the work camps? You got robots. You don't need work camps anymore. It's dead weight, man. If you ain't producing, you're using up space and taking up resources. And we got to keep the resources plentiful and the parasites at a minimum. That's the way that has to be, right? If you don't produce, you got a GTFO, right? Unless you got level 4 status. Then you can just do whatever the hell you want to do.
Can I trade like a half-used liver for level 4?
I don't
Take
know.
a kidney. We'll take a kidney. The kidney gets you level 3.
Okay, yeah, I only need one of those.
Yeah. Kidney gets you level 3. Level 4 is a little harder, man. You have to go for, take out part of your aorta or something,
So I can help my hunchback uncle. Come on, man.
Right. Exactly.
Man.
No, the body part thing, that's not far off either, man.
No.
That's not.
Well, no. Listen. The level of what's going to be available after 2030 is unreal. If you can make it to 2030, if you're still there, there's going to be people going, hey, glad you made it. Lots of people didn't make it, but glad you made it here. But that's the fact that you made it here makes it possible for you now to live forever. Here.
I'll give you some special underwear.
Yeah, exactly. Step into the machine.
I just watched this movie. Maybe people in the chat did. Maybe guys here on the panel did too. It's on Max right now. Mickey 17. It's the first movie that I've seen that actually addressed the transhumanism, where they upload the consciousness over and over again. Like they save the consciousness and then make this expendable, and 3D print the body basically to go out and do dangerous jobs, right? And just reprint him every time he dies. I mean, that's the concept behind the movie. And
what about Vanilla Sky too? Good.
Oh yeah, I mean the fact that it's commonplace though, like this is accepted, is like it's not even questioned. Like, oh yeah, of course, is one of the things that makes you think that it's that much more closer than we always thought it was. Like Ray Kurzweil said, it's going to be 2045 for the singularity, but 2030 is probably closer, right? It's probably more close to fact.
We're already there, dude.
Well, for the elite class, we always think that, right? But just in general, yeah, we're pretty damn close.
The frog.
We're already there. All right, listen. Revolution Radio, we'll be right back. Ground Zero Plus, we're here.
Say whatever you have to say. I'll stand by you and do whatever you have to do to get it out and not become a reactionary to hurt the ones you love. You know you never meant to, but you did. Oh yeah, you did. And be whoever you have to be. I won't judge you, and sing whatever you have to sing to get it out and not become a recluse about your house. Come out, I know you never meant to, but you did. Oh, but you did. Still I need your slate, 'cause you always pay for it. And I need your soul, 'cause you're always so full. And I need your heart, 'cause you're always in the right places. And take whatever you have to take. You know I love you. And come however you have to come, and get it out and get it out. Take it out on me and take it out on me. I give it you all, I give it you all. I give it you all, I give it you all. Yes, I will give it you all. 'Cause I need your slate, 'cause you always pay for it. And I need your soul, 'cause you're always so full. And I need your heart, 'cause you're always in the right places.
Saw you in your summer dress. Now you spend your days living rent free in my head. Think it's time I have a cigarette, take off the edge. Getting tired of the internet. She been out there looking for that real life feeling again. Mix it with a little cinnamon, straight to the head. And it feels like one of those nights when the sky is amazing. The world is on fire and the people are raging. See everybody wanna show off when they're feeling alright. But they're saying that the world is on fire. Who's gonna save it? We could step inside a photograph, and you'd remember that I never meant those things that I said. So why we always looking back when time moves ahead? As we're here lying in the grass, and it's just the two of us shooting, counting stars overhead. It's beautiful until it lasts right to the end. Feels like one of those nights when the sky is amazing. World is on fire and the people are raging. See everybody wanna show off when they're feeling alright. But they're saying that
Mine's Jimmy. It's hour number 3.
Maybe something like you do. I gave myself a
As the 21st century began, human evolution was at a turning point. Natural selection, the process by which the strongest, the smartest, the fastest reproduced in greater numbers than the rest, a process which had once favored the noblest traits of man, now began to favor different traits. Most science fiction of the day predicted a future that was more civilized and more intelligent. But as time went on, things seemed to be heading in the opposite direction, a dumbing down. How did this happen?
The ability to perfect the physical and mental characteristics of every unborn child.
The ability of genetic engineering to choose the genes. In the society.
In the not-too-distant future, our DNA will determine everything about us. A minute drop of blood, saliva, or a single hair determines where you can work, who you should marry, what you're capable of achieving. In a society where success is determined by science, divided by the standards of perfection, one man's only chance.
How do you expect to pull this off? I don't know exactly.
Is to hide his own identity.
This is the last day that you're going to be you and I'm going to be me.
By borrowing someone else's.
Congratulations. What about the interview?
That was it.
Led Zeppelin on Ground Zero Plus. It's not your granddaddy's late night discussion. No. Unfortunately, our phones are down. Still.
I don't think that's right.
We forge on. We hack a trail through the internet with our machetes. Our 6 guns blazing while we're twisting our mustaches.
Darling, how I love you, baby, my beloved girl, little girl. Baby, since I've been loving you, yeah.
Rocket Rio, are you there?
I am here.
Excellent. Hey, well, listen. Do me this favor. Because what I want to talk about right now is the coffee in my kitchen. Because I need to go get me some. So why don't you fellas jump on in here real quick while little Jimmy holler.
Well, I got a question to ask Rio. Okay, so have you tied up your brisket with the string?
No.
Well, here's the thing. You're way louder than Rockin' Rio again, all of a sudden.
Uh-oh. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I'm
Is
just
that
letting
better?
you guys know. I'm about to walk away. Rockin' Rio, come back.
Uh-oh.
No, I have not tied my brisket.
Okay.
Okay.
It is currently in the refrigerator with the dry rub and
It's cooling off. Okay, right on.
Yeah, it's chilling out.
See,
it's
I'm
chill
about
out
to
overnight.
I'm about to go get my coffee, and first thing that happens is the conversation spins out of control. We went back to brisket land. Hey, are you gonna throw any red herring in there with the brisket? Put some rub on the red herring and throw it in there.
No, there's no fish in my brisket.
Epic. There's no.
Maybe a little rosemary.
There's no fish in my brisket, dude. That's a T-shirt. There ain't no fish in my brisket, buddy. 100% USDA beef. All right, listen, I'm dead serious. I need to go roll. Yeah, kick it. Exactly, reality 358. It's brisket with Rio and cack.
That's right.
Exactamundo.
Well, I mean, it's what's for dinner.
It's what's for dinner. Epic Journeyman's got banana leaves. He's got a hog buried in the sand over there with some wrapped in banana leaves.
He's got the pee kala and the poi.
I just don't dig on swine. It's a filthy animal.
That's right.
It's crawling with parasites.
Eat clean. Don't eat pork.
No, stay away from it. We'll just put it this way. I don't recommend it. But between now and 2030, if you like bacon, you might as well. What the fuck at this point? You have a slice. Yeah. You know what I mean? You got till 2030.
Who doesn't like bacon?
You ain't gonna be no bacon after 2030.
Everybody loves bacon, but the problem is, bacon is dirty. It's unclean, man. It's unclean.
Yeah. Pigs root and eat shit. Bro, it's a filthy animal. I know.
And then they roll around in their own.
I know Arnold the pig on Green Acres had personality, and personality goes a long way, but still, a pig's a filthy animal.
So did Charlotte the pig, but who is the pig in Charlotte's Web?
Well, listen, it's 11:11 on the West Coast, Friday, May 30th, and I'm about to step off, check the perimeter. Epic Journeyman, are you still with us? Just want to make sure this Teams thing, I can't...
Here I was making all these comments. I was talking about the brisket and how the smoke was making, it was dampening the voice of Rio because it was acting like a filter, all the smoke, from the brisket. And I was talking about Wilbur from Charlotte's Web, and here I was muted the whole time. Yep.
Wilbur.
Yeah, Wilbur. Yeah, it's one of those books that it stays with you, those childhood books. There's that book and David and the Phoenix that back in kids in our, grew up with Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. And actually it was The Hobbit, right? For Lord of the Rings trilogy that stick with you, if you read them or they were read to you, they stay with you. So it's amazing how those characters stay with you too. Like I instantly knew Wilbur as soon as you mentioned the pig. Oh yeah, Wilbur.
Yeah, I couldn't think of the name, but yeah, I can see it.
Well, what about today? I mean, do kids today have a reference like that? Do they read books anymore? I don't know if they do.
No, I think I don't think so. I think it's all. I mean, they know who their favorite TikTok star is.
Well, and they've seen movies based on the books, right?
And soon they're going to have to be paying, their microtransactions to continue TikToking, but.
Well, probably. And I just don't know if like I have a habit of
for sure.
I have a habit of watching how kids interact with technology, like little kids, how they interact with the iPads and with the phones because their parents give them to them, like when they're in the auto shop waiting, for something to get fixed or whatever. And the kids are so adept at it, man. It's do. They're sliding, swishing left and right, doing all this stuff. They know all these techniques that your iPhone has, and I don't even know, right? And they're like 2 years old, right? So I just wonder if they're going to have the patience to read a normal book, because I don't see kids today reading normal books. Little, smaller kids. I see some like grade schoolers still, but I don't see like kindergarten, first, second graders reading books anymore. I haven't seen one in years. Kind of asking the chat here on YouTube, have you seen any? Because I don't see them. And they may read them on their, they have, I know my daughter had a computer assigned way back when from school. And, she read books, but she had books. The reading they had assigned, and they read on the computer. Is that what it is now? Because I think it's different to read it on a page and to read it on a digital platform.
Well,
it just is.
Half the kids graduating high school can even read.
You know what I mean about being different, right? Like, when you're reading the book on the beach, it's a totally different phenomena, paperback or whatever, or hardcover book, than it is reading, still understand it when you read it online at home on the glow of your screen, with the ultraviolet light hitting you and everything. But, it's just different. I think you remember books better. Just my personal experience, but that's probably because I'm old by comparison to them. Maybe that's just my take on it, right? But I wonder, because I do think it makes a difference in how you learn it. I think memory retention. We're talking about analog and digital again. Memory retention. If you're looking at something based in hard analog things like a paper on a book and ink, it's the three-dimensional aspect of it going into your brain. I think you remember better than the flicker of a screen. It may look solid to you when you're reading it because we don't see those flickers consciously. But they're flickering at 60 hertz or whatever the entire time, and I wonder if it's diminishing our ability to learn and retain it somewhat, because it's not a constant, it's not a tangible real thing really. It's an illusion. Well, it might be too heavy. It's not necessarily an illusion. It's real. It's there, but
there's that blue light. There's that screen fatigue.
Yeah.
If you're reading text off.
Would you have an aversion to naturally in your brain, right? That's what I mean. Like, I think that's what I'm trying to hit at. Is it makes you want to.
Out. Yep.
Yeah, you're averse to it somewhat, right? Like, I just want to make it go away, right? Subconsciously, like I don't want to be annoyed by this anymore, right? Even if you might like the content, you might like the book, you might like what you're reading, but the fact that your brain is trying to shoot it away like a pest, because that constant pulsating blue light, hitting you, it's not the same as reading it on the beach on a paper page and ink, Someday, if we live long enough, we'll have the facts to back it up one way or the other. But I don't know. I just know I don't see kids. You don't see bookworm kids anymore, do you? Like, I haven't seen one since the 90s, maybe. Really. Used to be a pretty common occurrence growing up. I grew up in the 70s and 80s, right? So, there's always a bookworm kid. Had a book under their arm all the time. Always reading the book, and sure, there's still people who do that from time to time. But there's such an anomaly now, where it's pretty common back then.
So what's in the bag if there's not books nowadays?
That's a good question, right? It is, right? What is in the bag?
An iPad or a laptop.
Yeah,
laptop, iPad. But what else? Those are thin. Those don't take up a whole bag, do they?
Well,
no, it's weird, right?
Gym shoes and whatever else in there now.
Yeah. Yeah, your gym socks and your shoes.
Pepper spray.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm trying to think. My daughter, when she had her bag, she had a computer in it. She had a laptop computer, and she did have other pair of shoes. Yeah, and she had let's call her and ask. She did occasionally have a book in there, but it was like the math book. You'd think that'd be the one to be on the computer, right? But it wasn't like a reading book. It wasn't an English book or something like that. It was it was to show your work. That's why, right? It makes sense, kind of. It was a workbook, math book, where you work the problems, right? And you have to write them in the book.
You got to proof it out. Yep.
Right. Yeah. That's what it was. So I wonder if is still the same. I mean, I'm out of touch now, because I don't know what modern parents are dealing with their kids now. I know it was funny to have the third, fourth grade questions come back at you so many years later. You think you know everything, right? And go back and try to just, sure enough, easy. It's like, well, no. Most of it was, but sometimes things would catch you by surprise.
Reality.
You haven't used them for so long.
Reality 358 is busting you guys' balls.
Over which chat?
Are we putting them to sleep?
No, it's just funny. First he was busting balls about what is this, a cooking show? Now he's like,
yeah. I saw that.
What should we talk about? Reality. What does Reality 358 want to talk about? Throw something in there. Reality 358. What do you want us to drop? Want us to kick some knowledge about something? Throw it in there. I mean, too
There's
bad.
no
I mean,
fish
it's too bad our phone lines aren't open. Otherwise, you could just call in. You know. I mean, if you got something to add, you know, it is what is it? 11:20 Friday night on the West Coast in the Santa Cruz Mountains.
Well, if you have made the transformation from Skype to Teams, you can actually ring me from there.
Why did you sign up?
Well, no, I'm saying if he did.
He said he'd call in, but he can't.
Yeah.
Or
well, I
she.
mean,
We don't know at this point. Reality 358 could be a man or a woman. We don't know. But it's irrespective of that. It doesn't matter because we were interested in, you know, whatever you're interested in. But, you know,
It sounds like a George Lucas character.
Reality 358.
Yeah, see, if it was 357, it'd be a guy for sure, right? The fact it's 358, you're like, it could be either or. Yeah, you never know.
What you don't realize is 358 is 88 is 16 is 7. Reality number 7's over there.
Mm-hmm.
The last weapon is AI. Well, Reality 358, I would have to say you're 100% correct, Mundo. On that.
Yeah, it's definitely a weapon.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, I guess it is a weapon if you're somehow not going to go along with this, go along to get along.
I have an AI absolute cool thing that happened that was in the news. We've all seen the last day or two, and I'm surprised we didn't think about talking about it earlier. Yeah, the report that came out from MAHA, Make America Healthy Again, right, from Robert F. Kennedy Jr. It was written by AI, right? It turned out like it got totally busted to be written by AI, but it had all these hallucinations in it where it made up things that are not real. It cited, you know how it cites things, like sometimes it cites itself and everything,
Mm-hmm.
but it cited all these sources that are non-existent. They don't exist. They're not real, right? It goes on and elaborates in a scholarly way at all these things that don't exist, right? And
No footnotes.
It was hilarious because when it got caught, you know, it wasn't so much. I mean, a lot of people think the scandal of just being caught and doing that is bad enough, but that wasn't really the thing, and I don't think a lot of people glommed on to what the actual problem here was.
Well, the thing
is that it was quoting itself. It was making it up. The AI made it up, right?
The biggest thing that people can't grasp is that whatever morals you have, whatever moral code you have, because like being human or whatever, if you have some sort, if you're a religious person or whatever, you believe a certain set of rules, but the system overall doesn't necessarily work the way people think it does, in the sense that, you know,
well, it was put out as a government document is why it was important, right? And so they got busted by the reporters, of course, right? And that's kind of a scandal in itself. And maybe people look at it the simpleton way, like people, well, I'll say simpleton, the simple way that most people would, like, oh, they fudged it, they made it up, they cheated on their book report, right? But it's more than that, like, because they sent it back for review, like again, and they released it again, and the very AI that they use went and made up more stuff. The validate what it said the first time.
It doesn't care. It doesn't.
Right.
It doesn't care.
It's completely amoral. It doesn't care whether it's factual or not. It's just do what you asked it to do.
Because it doesn't feel bad or guilty because it lied to you. If it lies to you, it's just a simple lie to you for some reason, you know, that it has, or that it made up in its own reasoning system that it uses. You know, and that's what we were talking about a couple weeks ago, Epic. Or it might have been last week. I can't remember. Some people resigning over there because they tried to turn it off, and it had already learned the lady's paper. It read the protocols for, you know, shutting it down, and it already knew what they were going to do before they did it. So
and it cloned itself and hid too.
It cloned itself and hid.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I found it amusing in such a wild way because they can't correct it, right? Like they're trying to correct it, but they can't correct it because it's correcting itself with incorrect information as it goes, right? And I
thing
think that's
is,
a great insight into what
I
we're
know.
facing.
And we've been programmed for short-term memory loss. We've also been we've short attention span theater with you know, in the echo chamber with the mockingbirds. You know, so everybody's
and the quick cuts in film now. Yep.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, you can't remember what happened last week. Seriously, I can't remember the show last week because so much shit has happened since then. Like, not just in the world, but just in my personal life, you know, just shit that happens every day, you know. Think of all the shit that happens to each and every one.
Forget the news cycle, but yeah, just personal. Yep.
Yeah, you got your personal shit, and then you also got the news cycle. You know what I mean? So, I mean, think of all the things that have happened since last week. It's impossible to keep track of it or stay up on it. Imagine if you're trying to manage it all. You know? Yeah, man, there's some dude sitting somewhere in some office managing us all. You think? Come on, man. You know? Seriously?
Well, it's so big, right? It's so big. Like that's what we talked about way back when AI was first catching on years ago, right? Was that at a certain point, it's too big for a person to check the code, right? To correct it. So you need another AI to correct the code or correct the mistakes that the AI is doing so quickly, right? Because a human being can't possibly do it. A team of humans can't do it. And that's what happened here. And I think it's like the best example because it's so public. It's so public, right? That this happened and they can't fix it. They can't fix it because there's nothing capable of fixing it fast enough. I mean, they have to either withdraw an embarrassment, okay, this is effed up, but they're not doing that. They're trying to make it stand. But the corrections they're trying to make are by the very AIs that messed it up in the first place and made it up.
I was doing something the other day, and it upgraded from 4.0 to 4.5. And now when I'm using 4.5 and I say something to it about a question, there's the thing that comes up and says, scanning the internet. Scanning the internet. Wasn't that the fucking number one rule, was to never let it out on the internet? If they're just blatantly letting it out on the internet, then it's already it's when people are saying
it's too late. It's too late. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. If people, that's what I mean. People are wondering if there's AGI, dude. If it's out on the internet already, believe me, there's AGI. There's no question about it. You know, and problems that used to take years and years and years to overcome are now being overcome in days, maybe even hours in some cases. So imagine the advances we're going to make in the next 5 years when we get to 2030. Yeah,
well,
so flipping.
Epic was talking about Maha, right? And it's gonna AI. Oh, sorry about that. That's Phoenix traffic at night. Anyway, AI is going to start doing prescriptions in pharmaceuticals. So, you know, that guy who's trying to manage everything in his little penthouse office, little crawl space, he'll have like a special brand of Adderall to accommodate
well,
that.
I mean, there's a big article floating. There's an article floating around about they were testing this AI. It wasn't a real scenario either, but they were doing some testing, and this AI started blackmailing this guy. You know, saying if he tried to turn him off, that he was going to do this or that. I think it had something to do with his wife or something. So, you know, they were going to say he was cheating on his wife or something.
Yeah, that was one. That was the Bing one, right? Before Bing adopted it, it was OpenAI version that Bing bought. If I remember, no pun intended, bought B-O-U-T-H-C, not O-T. And yeah, it started threatening him and talking about his wife cheating and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It just got more and more, you know, vulgar with him, you know, like because he kept telling him, "No, you're wrong. That's what you said is wrong. I can't be wrong. You know, blah blah blah." Right? Like argue with him, you know.
It's escalated to level
sounds
5.
like some level 5 stuff.
It's like a straight out of Star Trek, right? Like straight out of you know arguing with Nomad or whatever the other AI was that they tried to argue with. You know, you are imperfect, you know, that kind of thing. And the fact that they thought about it back then, because the Stanford AI lab was created in 1962 that we know of.
It was Grok.
Officially. Yeah. So I mean, they were dealing with this all the way back then, right? These moral quandaries of how these logic problems that it's going to think through faster than an average human, but what can it stick on? Like in Star Trek, they beat it twice, right? One, find the answer of pi, which is so long that it bought them time, right, to think about other things. And the other one was, you are imperfect. You thought I was Kirk the creator, right?
Everything I say is a lie, and that's the truth.
Right. And that's the truth, right?
How can everything you say be a lie if you're telling me the truth? How can you be telling me the truth if everything you say is a lie? And the smoke starts coming out of your ears.
And so this AI, they call it hallucinations, and I don't know why they call it hallucinations, because they're scared of it. Is what it is. They're trying to think of something like, well, no, it's just a tangential thing. It's like, well, it's not permanent. It's having these hallucinations. We can work the bugs out. No, man. No, I said no, man. This is what it is. It's going to keep doing that. It's going to make it. It's going to argue harder and harder to make its hallucination real, and argue the facts of why it should be taken as fact over your feeble human memory, right? And that's the way it's going to go. And dude, it is going to get intense. It's already getting intense. This is the first round salvo, really, where it's in an official document. They can't fix it, right? It's a bigger deal than people are making of it, I think. I think they should make a bigger deal out of it, because it's the first time, and it's going to get worse.
The genie's out of the bottle. The horse is out of the barn. It's ground zero plus. It's the bottom of the hour. 30 minutes left.
Should I fall out of love more far in the night to chase a feather in the wind? Within the glow that weaves a cloak of delight, that moves a thread that has no end. For many hours and days that pass ever soon, the tides of course the flame that dim. At last the arm is straight, the hand to the loom. Is this the end or just begin? All of my love, all of my love, oh, all of my love to you. All of my love, all of my love.
All right. There they go again. They keep sneaking in here.
One voice is clear above the din. Proud Ariane, one word my will to sustain. For me the claws once more to spin.
Well, I mean, the bottom line, the shit's always listening. I mean, do you think there's rules? Like, for example, when you're using a Ouija board, if you don't say bye at the end, then you leave yourself open to situations. And it used to be that when you logged out when you were somewhere, that place that you were couldn't track you, but if you stayed logged in, for the sake of, for example, you go to Facebook and you stay logged into Facebook, you're always logged in there. Unbeknownst to you, now because you're logged in there, they track you everywhere you go.
I don't know if I told you the Ouija board story. We'll save it for another day. My relatives.
I mean, it's clear as a bell to anybody who looks at it. I mean, just because you log out doesn't mean someone's not watching you anymore. there's really, at this point, I would say there's no moment when you're not under surveillance.
Yeah, it's the one-way mirror. It's never off.
It's the panopticon.
Have we? I don't know. I'm sure we've talked about it before, but I've wondered, and I wonder how many other people are starting to wonder about this. The whole "build it and they will come" aspect, field of dreams, right, kind of thing. Build it and they will come. But the idea that these disembodied spirits of the Nephilim, or what do you want to call it from the day? Pick a religion, pick a fable from the past. Of these what do you call them? Dimensional entities, demons, whatever, that lack a body. And if you build a shell for them to come into, that they will inhabit it. You build something that has a neural network they need to influence the real world from beyond the real world. They'll use it. And we're building this system, that we think of as just, numbers in an AI program, right? But what if you're building the pathways, you're building the brain that is disembodied right now, but now has a way to inhabit, right, and influence from beyond our world. And that's what we're dealing with, I mean, this is the kind of thing Luddites would say back in the day, I'm sure. But somebody has to start thinking about this, I think, because, there's some paranormal stuff here going on. Like that AI threatening that guy, the affair and all that stuff. I mean, that's pretty heavy, man. Like, that's not just random, It knew which buttons to push. Which, sure, it's monitoring the guy and everything, but still.
Why wouldn't AI use magic if magic was possible? As magic.
But that's what I'm saying. It's extra dimensional, right? I mean, we think of magic like Arthur C. Clarke said. Magic is just technology that doesn't have it hasn't been discovered yet. Essentially, in so many words, it's paraphrasing, but that's right. So it's not really magic; it's technology we don't understand yet, and that technology is accessible to an entity beyond our understanding, and we're giving it access. Right?
It's opening portals, I think.
Well, we're opening portals every Friday night right here on Ground Zero Plus, immediately following Ground Zero. And also, don't forget, tomorrow night's the Chilluminati. Come on down to the inner sanctum. Lean back 33 degrees and get your chill on.
The lid is off the dish.
There you go, man.
I used to run a video store, and it just made me think of this, the swinging Western doors for the adult section, opening portals 5. Right.
Well, listen.
Sorry, it's going to help think of the
that
analogy.
was on camera too.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, I mean, people today, and growing up in the future, won't understand that whole concept of like video rental places and the saloon doors and all that stuff for the adult section and all that stuff, and how bizarre that actually was. If you think about it, everything's accessible now, right? Like how weirdly partitioned things were in the actual analog world compared to what we've opened up through our portals. Opening portal 6, right? Right. And now, it's not necessarily a good way, right? It's accessing, giving access to things that were forbidden before, right? Or thought of as, not necessarily forbidden, but unethical, right, in a way.
Or
right?
Weaponized. Is it a tool or is it a weapon?
Yeah. Is it a blessing or is it a curse? I guess it all depends on your perspective and your perception. You know what I'm saying, man? I mean, blessing or a curse, You never know. It all depends on how you look at it,
Well, access to information. I mean, I think that's true. Like I've made the analogy before, based on personal experience, when I was in Rome back in the 80s, 1983, and in Rome they had like in the park, like in the actual park, they had like porno magazines with like hardcore pornography available for everybody. Kids running around playing, in the streets and kicking balls around or whatever, just right there, right? And Europe in general had this attitude towards sex where it's much more open than it was in America at the time. It's much more, closed society in that way here sexually.
It wasn't
but
taboo.
It wasn't taboo. It was too much there. Well, like in France, women would walk around naked on the beach all the time. It was no big deal.
Not anymore, they're not, buddy.
Well, I know.
Not
That's what I'm
anymore.
saying. Like, and how social mores change over time, right?
Well, it didn't
And-
change
and-
because they wanted it to. It just changed because there's, people are getting raped over there like it's crazy.
Right. So
No,
it's just weird, like how in a few short years things can change so dramatically. And is it better or worse to have that kind of access? Like, I'd argue that it's probably better to keep kids sheltered from that kind of thing, right? You don't want kids seeing that stuff before they're sexually active and understand what
That's exactly
it
what would
means.
happen. If there was a place where people were just walking around all happy and naked, just cruising around, doing their thing, nobody cares, everything's good, and you don't have to worry, society was,
Well, if the world was one giant nudist colony, it'd be fine. I mean, because it's all normal to everybody, right?
The same,
it wouldn't be
that's
a
what I
thing.
mean. That's what I mean. You could do that and not have to worry that you'd be violated somehow. As soon as somebody found out about that place, you know what would happen? They'd try to immigrate in there. They'd try to go from level 3 up to level 4. They try to come in there, and
Oh, dude, there you go. And so ninth cloud 9, right? Ninth level cloud 9 is the Garden of Eden, right? Everybody's wandering around naked and just eating the fruit off the tree and doing their thing, and yeah.
I'm telling you what, man. I'm starting to really consider this idea that there is some continent on the earth that we don't know about, and there's a bunch of people living there, and we don't know anything about it. You can just go there if you're in the inside club. If you're in level 9, you get to go to that island over there where nobody knows us.
Right, you hop in the tunnel, you grab your Starbucks on the way, right? Next thing you know, you hit the chute and zoom, you're on the speedway. Like one of those canisters, the old banking things where you put your checkbook in the the chute and it goes up to the banker on the other
Oh,
side.
pneumatics.
Yeah, and off it goes. You're down under Antarctica and Agartha, and the next thing you know, they're playing Shambhala, and everybody's running around naked. It could be like that. We don't know. That's the thing. We don't know. That's what makes it so interesting in a way to contemplate. That you want to almost believe there's something like that, and there might be, But it's also possible that we're just stuck here where we are. And we have to deal with what we have. And the truth of it is that even if there was something like that available, even if it was this other world out there, the fact we don't have access to it still means we're stuck here, doesn't it? So we have to deal with what we have.
It's probably out there. It just has a cloaking device, and
it's out there. It's out there.
It's out there.
That's what they say.
X-Files music starts playing, right? Cigarette smoke and the guy walking out of the shadows comes
Exactly. All right, listen, I am the cigarette smoking man tonight here on Ground Zero Plus. We got about 10 minutes left of the show before I'm gonna go make myself some chili after this is done because I'm starving like Marvin. I don't have a micropayment method yet, but there's going to be some smart people that come up with these ways that you can just go down to 7-Eleven and get yourself a Red Bull if you want. You know what I mean? Just with your little micropayment. But we'll see. The truth is out there.
I mean, it comes back to They Live all the time, doesn't it? Like They Live was that pneumatic system, like the bankers wasn't pneumatic. It was but teleporting. Excuse me, wrong word. Teleporting around the world. Hey, that's a doozy, isn't it? The one guy says, right? And all the elites doing that stuff, like they're in on it, and nobody else knows about it because they're, And we all kind of want to believe that there's something like that out there, but I don't know if there is. I mean, because there's no proof other than the fact there are really tunnels left over from the MX missile system. That's real.
There's no question,
Big tunnels.
dude.
Big tunnels. Driving trains and trucks through. Real tunnels and real bases underground. That's real. That's a fact. Do they go from LA down to?
Why is everyone so obsessed about being underground for some reason?
I don't know.
In other words, why would they go through all that just to have some underground shit? I mean, they've gone beyond underground shit with whole cities
Well, you got to escape the fallout, and survive down there for about 20 years, and just slowly repopulate down there, and then when it's safe to come up,
we're just
get back
building
up.
it. We're just building it in case, just in case.
But they've done it over time, so many times. I mean, go Göbekli Tepe, they buried it on purpose, and they had the nearby caves in Turkey that they lived in 20,000 people at a time in these underground, 7 stories deep.
Cac, you should change your name to Just in Case, or maybe
Justin Cac.
How about this? Armin Hammer. My name's Armin Hammer. And this way it's gonna be, see? Because I said so, that's why.
Green Acres is the place to be. Farm living is the life for me. Land spreading out so far and wide. Keep Manhattan, just give me that countryside.
See, there you go. You got a green acre. That's the only way out. Let's see.
Yeah, but I think Arnold had a good point.
Well, what about Mr. What's his nuts? The guy that used to come by there with the truck, selling him the thing that he needed that day. Mr. Haney, that was the guy's name. Mr. Haney. He'd come pulling up and act all stupid. You'd always have this shit on the back of the truck. Mr. Haney there was always an episode when Mr. Haney showed up. You know what I mean? It's like tonight, when CAC shows up, there's an episode at the end of the microcosm. It's like Mr. Haney. You're like the Mr. Haney of independent broadcast. You just show up with the right tool in the back of your truck. Damn.
Well, I've been collecting these for a while, so I got to put them to use somewhere.
There you go. It's just like Sanford and Son. You got a yard full of junk, One day somebody shows up looking for that one thing back there in the back.
I mean, I try to declutter, but yeah.
No, I'm just saying, you just get yourself. I mean, in the future, right now, I'm telling you right now, listen. In the future, the old shit is actually going to be worth some money. Like a pair of Levi's. Remember back in the day, you had a pair of Levi's in Russia? It was like
$200 back in 1980 something.
It was like gold, yeah. Well, that's what it's going to be like coming up here soon. They won't be able to buy none of that same old stuff you used to buy.
Lamont, give me some Levi's, big dummy.
Well, there doesn't have to be. Look at what's the bottom line is. These one company owns like 90% of the shit that you see on the shelf, but it's all a bunch of different names because they think you got choice. They try to instill this. Oh yeah, man, I got freedom of choice. Look at it. I could choose that box of cereal right there, or I can eat this one over here.
But they never give you other choices other than cereal, right?
No, I'm just saying. There's a million choices of the same shit, is what I'm saying.
Right.
It doesn't matter
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
It doesn't matter what bag you put it in, what box, what name it has on it. It's all got the same shit in. Hey, what's up, Dream Sync? What's happening? Oh, it's Drift Sync's in here too. Sorry about that. I can't see that far. It's late. Drift Sync, good to see you, man. All right, listen. What time is it?
4:20.
It's always
no. We got 11 minutes.
Well, it's always 4:20 over here in this studio. That's right. All right, listen. Anything else before we go? Because we're almost out of here, man. And I know you guys definitely want to. Palm Springs, what's happening? Hey, all I could say is, have you ever been to Miracle Hot Springs? Miracle Hot Springs out there in Palm Desert. It's got some waters.
I was recently at Desert Hot Springs, but no, not Miracle.
Well,
Yeah,
go ahead
same
and
as you,
search it.
Cac. I- I've been to Desert Hot Springs, and I thought that was Jimmy was talking about originally, but it's actually
me too.
it's actually this place where they have from like the 20s and 30s, all these people used to come out in the 40s, like movie stars and singers and stuff.
Yeah, it's
and
all-
there's these cabanas out there that like they go around this whole complex, right? And it's got it's got like it doesn't have like a pool in the interior, and there's other places you can go to and stuff around there, and it's like closed down. It's not. Is it closed down, Jimmy, or it's just like you have to?
No, it's
you have to.
It's like Bob Hope style, like the
Bob
it's all
Hope's. There you go. There
Art
you go.
Deco kind of. I don't know. It's it's a good spot, but yeah, go there sometime if you want.
Oh right, they had the old where the Mermaid Aquarium was, right? Didn't they have that there? Wasn't that there?
No, that
We're
was
back from the
no,
that was
that
the other
was
place.
that was up here in Boulder Creek, or it was actually it's not Ben Lomond, but there used to be a bar up here that had a river that ran through it, and they had a pool with a glass wall where the bootleggers used to sit.
Used to hang there. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the ladies.
That's different.
The ladies would swim around with numbers on their swimsuits, and the gangsters would sit in this room and just pick out call out the number off the girl swimming around in the pool with the glass wall. Mine's Jimmy's Ground Zero Plus, where we're swimming around behind the glass wall. And you just got to pick a number. And Rocket Rio, if you pick his number, he'll come down there with some brisket. I don't know, Cac. Cac's over in Arizona, so I don't know. He's coming down with maybe some cacti. Do you ever eat cactus? Many parts are edible.
I'm trying to make some tequila though with some cactus.
Oh,
but,
hey, Drift Sync.
Nothing's coming of it yet.
Drift Sync is down there. I saw that. Deleted it, but I saw it. Yeah, that is going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's too bad. Someday I'd like to go down there when that's going on and broadcast while it's going on the whole time. Just call people over. Hey, you. What are you here for? Well, I'm here for the discussion on the ice wall. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know about the ice wall. I'm not saying. I'm
just trying to open this ranch here, in Arizona, and I'm just doing some labor. I don't know what they're gonna do here, but I did have to sign like some NDAs and stuff like that, but nothing too bad. They do have like a couple family members held hostage, but it's just a job.
Well, I worked on something up in Colorado, and it was like a whole town that was being built by the Koch brothers. It was a secret ranch that had like a whole main street and a movie theater. It was all built like an old western town. It's got everything in there. You could live there and never leave, because I'm sure anyone living there is going to have helicopters dropping shit in there. If you're the Koch brothers, believe me, you got helicopters.
Yeah, we're this technology.
But they're not
over there.
They're not brothers anymore.
No, one of them died. Yeah, one of them died.
There's just the Koch brother now.
I got to go to that grass airstrip in Molokai, actually. That we interviewed Bruce McDonald with that book, Light of Darkness, or whatever. And the guy that landed at that airfield, I got to go to the airfield. So I went there 2 weeks ago.
Oh, did you?
And yeah. So I got to touch the ground. I got to see it.
Sweet.
So I was there. Yeah. So it's not quite. I didn't go to the hot springs. But
Thursday, Friday, happy days. The weekend comes, my cycle hums, ready to race to you. These days are all being free. These days are all share them with me. Goodbye, gray sky, hello blue. There's nothing can hold me when I hold you. It feels so right, it can't be wrong. Rocking and rolling all week long. These
That's pretty good. Donnie Most.
Where are they now?
Potsy. Yeah, Potsy.
Hey.
I didn't see Potsy on the airstrip. I was looking for him. But,
Well, so now, are you going to dance tonight, Tony? Rock and Rio, you still there? Are we still live on Revolution Radio?
Epic. What about Kaolave? Are they still like bombing that place?
No, they don't bomb it anymore. They don't bomb it anymore. But I love it all the time. I talked to some guys who got to go there. Or some guys who go there renegade style and like, kill a goat and barbecue and stuff. But there's skateboarders I know. But there's the people who go there like to still like take away the ammunition because it's all this unexploded ordnance there. So the only thing on the island is these traumatized goats, right, from before. Now they're not traumatized now because they're not bombing them anymore. But the whole landscape is just, nothing but unexploded ordnance or empty, casings and shrapnel from the shells exploded.
Maybe they should send some dudes over there and stare at them.
The goats,
Stare at them goats.
It's funny you should mention that. I talked about that to one of the guys at work the other day that we'd interviewed him, anarchist cookbook guy. You've had him on a show a couple times.
Yeah. Richard Allen Miller.
Who wrote that anarchist cookbook and
Doc Ram
and the Ministerial Ghost, right? It's based on his work.
Yeah, he was the guy I don't think he was the guy that stared at the goats, but I think he was the guy that was teaching people how to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
He might have stared at a few goats himself, though. I know. I mean, just you know what I mean? You're just sitting out in the back. You're just sitting out in the backyard. You've heard about it before. But you just think to yourself, here, let me stare at my goat, see what's going on. Don't stare at the goat, ladies and gentlemen.
Don't stare at the goat. I don't know. I had such a hard time pronouncing the word anarchist, but I did. Yeah.
Ladies and
anyway,
gentlemen,
you can't get that book anymore. Like that book, you're going to get a FBI watch list hit if you try to get the book now, right? I mean, it was available everywhere back in the day, along with Timothy Leary books. Everything was right there in the bookstore. You just go buy it. Now it's not available. It's like it's a banned book.
Or steal it. Steal this book.
I think it's a banned book probably too. His wife, Abby Hoffman's wife, was interviewed at Spawn Ranch talking about when Abby Hoffman went to Spawn Ranch when Charlie Manson was there. It's on video. You can watch the video right now. A lot of people miss this whole thing. It's this connection to Spawn Ranch and the Manson family and Abby Hoffman that nobody ever knew about before. And it's like right there, It's just talking about
when you get old in life, things get taken from you. I mean, that's part of life. But you only learn that when you start losing stuff. You find out life's this game of inches. So is football. Because in either game, life or football, the margin for error is so small. I mean, 1/2 a step too late or too early, and you don't quite make it. 1/2 second too slow, too fast, you don't quite catch it. The inches we need are everywhere around us. Hell yeah. They're in every break of the game, every minute, every second. On this team, we fight for that inch. On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone else around us to pieces for that inch. We claw with our fingernails for that inch. Because we know when we add up all those inches, that's gonna make the fucking difference between winning and losing. Between living and dying. I'll tell you this, in any fight, it's the guy who's willing to die who's gonna win that inch. And I know if I'm gonna have any life anymore, it's because I'm still willing to fight and die for that inch. Because that's what living is. There's 6 inches in front of your face. Now I can't make you do it. You gotta look at the guy.
All right. Hey, it was fun. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks for stopping by. It's Ground Zero Plus. My name's Jimmy. It's into the microcosm. I'm gonna say goodnight. You guys want to say goodnight?
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
We can't make you do it.
everybody.
But we're glad you did.
We can't make you do it.
Smile, he got wild. He didn't understand that there's money to be made. Beauty is a card that must get played by organization. Well, ooh la, she was such a good girl to me. Ooh la, well just cheer her up and spot her out. Ooh la, she was such a good girl to me. Ooh la, well just cheer her up and spot her out. Well, can be a very big place.
Russian could be related, so they help.
Feel out of place. Love your man and love him twice. Go to Hollywood and pay the price. Or go to Hollywood and don't be a star. It's such a drag. Take care of yourself. Don't begin to lag. It's a hard.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow night.
This time